What about now? Can they hear it now? What about now? Can they hear it now? Okay, we've got audio. Right. But the Zoom callers still can't hear me.
I've got about a 20-second delay, but I can hear you coming through.
Okay.
Yeah.
None. And then we're gonna audio source mixed. Audio mixed. Mixed? Share? Audio mixed. Mixed? Share? Can anyone hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can anyone out there hear us? Hello?
I think they'll
talk to us.
Could.
Okay, it
Hello,
just looks
people
like
in
the
the
Zoom
internet.
callers can't hear us.
Kent can hear us.
Let me just get...
Well, Muso can hear us, Robbie.
Kent can.
Right, so it sounds like they can hear us.
Okay. The streaming...
Not that they want us.
Okay, so the streaming guys can hear us?
Mm-hmm.
I've got a streamer going up and down the street.
It's just the Zoom callers can't hear us.
Careful, Sinky. Andy.
Okay, let me just...
Actually, there's going to be a streamer going on in my garden in a minute.
Yes, time for the leaf mowers to start up. Leaf blowers and lawn mowers.
I'm just going to ask the Zoom callers if they can...
Zoom crawlers.
Yeah, we've already had a kids' party this morning.
Oh.
The studio is looking a bit fuller there, Ian. That's good to see.
It certainly is. Well, we'll get to that. Yeah, but thanks, Chris. It is. Yeah.
Still sounds like it needs work. Sound.
Yeah. No, it's because I'm using this actually.
That's exactly what I thought. I was just joking. Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
I was intending to use.
You're breaking up there, Ian.
Wow, yeah, those guys have just left, so I'm just going to close their links off, and let's just see what's going on. Okay, I don't know what the hell vMix have just done, but they have literally made a change to the Zoom call feature, and
That makes you can't have Zoom calls.
well, I don't know I don't actually understand
I
what
like
it does.
it. I like the thinking.
I don't understand what it does.
It's weird because it routed the video of them fine, just not the audio.
Garrett, can you hear me? No. Audio source, isolated. What about mixed? Garrett, can you hear me? Garrett, can you hear me now? What about now? Can you hear me? What about now? Can you hear me? So I'm clicking on just about every single audio source button known to mankind, and
Oh,
I can hear you on YouTube.
Yeah.
So,
but you can't hear me
my
through
phone,
Zoom.
Well, that's weird.
Yeah, that's very
can't
strange.
hear you through Zoom. Yeah.
Okay, well, this is weird. Weird.
that means I'll have something like a 20-second delay.
Yeah.
10.
Yeah.
I remember when we used to do that.
I'm going to put them on share, because I feel like share is kind of like the thing, right? Let's just go back here. I'll just make them... this is really, really annoying.
Completely new interfaces that vMix have done?
Not completely new, but they've added this audio feature. And it's probably a security feature, right? To stop silliness from happening.
Like the guy invited that it was trying to show porn last time.
Yeah.
Yes. Our friend from the couple of weeks ago.
Anyway, I've got their audio on, so we can actually hear them. They're just going to be really, really delayed when we ask them questions. Let's see if I can increase the latency. I've got it at ultra low latency.
Oh.
Okay. So it means that it should be relatively quick for them to hear it. But there is some good news. I have managed to get the social button to work.
Social, yes. We saw you struggling with it during the week. We didn't know whether you'd cracked it. Well done, mate.
Well, now my controller's not working. All right, let's see if that
So
works.
what does that do?
There we go. Look at that.
Hey.
Oh,
Look,
that's-
it's recent. Wow.
These are
not
some
from
of the
the
ones that I
books,
flagged
that's-
while I had time to read them. How often does this thing come up? I forget now. vmix social. And turn it on.
That's really nice to know that it helps his mental health, but the way it's going to do our mental health in today, I think.
It will. Yeah.
All right, let's have a look at the queue. The queue is empty. All right. The queue is empty anyway, so we know that's working. If I just choose the VMS, let's do that. Let's choose that and see if that works. It should update in a second. Refresh. Refresh. Hey, look, it updated.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look at that. What? Something works.
Wow.
Well, you can't have everything working, and if something's going to work, something's not got to.
Anyway,
We're going to crack this streaming gig one fix at a time.
I don't actually have a clue what to do with the audio on Zoom. So if you guys can listen via YouTube, I'll just tell them in the chat. Is there a chat window here? All right, I've told them. Right, that's sorted. Okay, let's get on with the show.
Oscillating electronic signal, often a sine wave.
Hi, welcome to a fantastic start to my 250th show. I'm really happy to have you here. As you can see, 250 shows doesn't make me any better at all at doing this caper, but fantastic to have you anyway. And of course, it's it has to be some stupid software update that like throws me every single time, doesn't it? I've got the problem is, guys, I've got Zoom calls on. And this is supposed to be the holy grail to fix my problem so I can get as many people on the show as possible. And it's just been a complete train wreck. They've added this new audio feature where I can isolate, mix, or share the audio. And I've tried every single one of those settings, and those guys still can't hear me. So I don't know what to do. I have no idea. Their audio in this software is set to mix buses, and they're getting the master bus, so they should be able to hear me. I've got the Zoom app actually running here on my computer, and not sure what's going on, why it's not showing me, but the Zoom app is running. But it doesn't really sort of help. Even running the Zoom app on my computer. But anyway, let's move on. We've got a really good show. And actually, we've got a special guest today, and he can hear us via YouTube, so it'll just be a little bit delayed. But we've got Garrett from Retro Kits, who you can see underneath Andy, who's, if you want to look at this from a grid reference, he's actually second row, third on the right. We've also got Brooksy. He's down the
Where
bottom.
Marsha would be.
Yeah. So he's down the bottom, and we've got Chatties in the bottom corner. And look, if you do want to join us and try Zoom out and see if you can help us out with that, and try and get it to work. I don't know what's going on. Audio source mixed, audio source shared. I mean, what does that mean? Isolated? What does that mean? I don't know. Anyway,
There'll be a caveat. There's always a caveat.
but
But
There's
you
a
have to set
button
this
to
first.
press.
Brooksy's not even
Yeah,
coming
there's
through.
Yeah, his audio's not coming through.
Anyway,
He's looking a bit.
he's left. He just went.
He's gone. Sack
I'm outta
that.
That's it. He's had enough. He's had enough.
Anyway, the reason why we've got
hissy fit.
the reason why we've got Garrett on the show is because actually he's I don't know if you guys know of Retro Kits. They make wonderful products like
Good stuff. Yeah.
Ooh. A black box.
if it decides to focus ever.
No,
Focus.
it doesn't want to, does it?
It's too dark,
No.
probably. It's not enough light on it.
Anyway, that's
gotta be
called
one of those days,
that's
isn't
called an RK006. You guys seen these before, right? This is basically a cool little MIDI router slash
Nice.
merger
Oh, yeah.
slash.
Oh, yes. Yes, that's right. Yes.
All right,
I know
they've
these
been around for a
Things
couple
like
of years.
that are really handy,
Yeah.
especially if you're doing
Yeah, they're
live
cool.
stuff.
Well, if you're in Eurorack land, you are going to be extremely happy because the RK006 is heading your way, and we're going to talk about it during the news segment. And we've got the actual company right here on our show, and he's come at short notice, mind you. Let me tell you, but let me give you a sneak peek, says Sean Connery.
Or a schlap.
Engage the silent drive.
Here is a sneak peek. It is a prototype, and you guys are going to see it at Super Booth. This is it right now. This is the Retro Kits RK006 prototype. It's looking really sexy, to be fair. Thanks, Garrett. Thanks for making sexy stuff. Right. Let's put you across. Let's put across to Garrett anyway. See if we can get his audio working, and let's see if we can get him to have a chat to us about it. So, can you hear us, Garrett? It'll be a bit of a delay, but let us know about the new project that you've got coming up. No audio. Oh my god! I want to die.
Before.
Yeah, I could hear him earlier. That's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Want to die. Oh, there we go.
Hear him earlier. That's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here he goes. We can hear him.
Oh, there we go.
Here he goes. We can hear him.
See, that's a really long delay. See, that's a really long delay.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you that question again, and if you could
Okay,
mute.
this is kind of trippy, but I'll try and tell you something about it. It's a the photo you showed was the RK8 and the RK6 in a little box. So the top part is the 1 unit RK6, and the other below is the RK8 in 3 units. And we're just going to see how things work out next Super Booth, if there's enough interest for it, because our stuff is more like MIDI in the basis, and modular is a lot of CV Gate stuff going on. So we'll see how it turns out next week.
Looks great.
All right, I'm going to mute him for a sec, but you guys saw what he was talking about. I'm only muting him because we can hear ourselves back, and it's going loop, 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 loop. And it's absolutely not in any way anything bad what he said. But that, Garrett, I know you can still hear us via YouTube. That actually looks absolutely brilliant. I'm glad you're venturing down the Eurorack land because it's going to be big this year from what I've been told at Super Booth. It's going to be really cool. If you're in Eurorack, you will have lots of toys to play with. That's the word that I've got. So, and if anybody goes past your booth and sees this MIDI connectivity, absolute fantastic brain box that you've had going for years, and you've converted it into Eurorack, I think they're going to be very, very interested. So well done, mate.
That's cool. I'm also a fan of the smart MIDI cable.
Yeah.
I use it with the Voco sample.
Yeah.
you're more than welcome to stick around and watch the rest of the show because we will. But I understand if you are busy, we did get you at short notice. Yeah, please do stick around if you're more than welcome to. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Right. What we're going to do is we are going to just keep pursuing with the rest of the show as we like to always do. So we're going to say hello to all the normal video caller guests. We'll start off with Daren because Darren's been with us the longest. And Daren, you've actually been with us for about 236 episodes, if I got that kind of right.
Probably, yes. I've lost count now. Does that mean I'm getting too old for this? But at least we're back how we started anyway. Struggling
with technology. That's it.
Yeah, all this time and went back to where we started from. Yeah. So, but yeah, it sort of flew in one way. Time flies, as they say. I've been through lockdown. All this sort of hassle with not being able to get connected and things. Then we sort of had a smooth run, and now, well, it's like things, they all come round again. So, fashion, music, and gremlins. So, yeah, we're doing pretty well.
Gremlins.
I'll let you know what I've been doing this week. I've virtually finished all the mixes for the within each of us mixes. Ooh. EP, album, I don't know, it's 7 tracks. So whatever you class it as. Ray's finished his kitchen sink mix. It's about 18 minutes long, something like that. I've let him this. And before that, he's also stuck on, I think I've sent it out, he's stuck on unauthorized purple audio, which I said that's why it's unauthorized, because he was not allowed to put it on. But he has. So when you hear that, you'll find out what he thinks of modular, and a few other things as well. So that'll be out. It'll be out by the end of this month, I think. I'm just got another 3 tracks just to tweak out and make sure that they're all right and then position them on the album, and then that's ready to go. So sometime this month, you'll get a thingy out. My live set's all working. I put a picture on Facebook of it up, live set B, which I realised I hadn't actually got my box on there and something else, so it's not quite as it should be, but pretty much finished. That's ready to go. And I've let Rave have a go with a 303. So if we get time, I might let him jam and then just record it and put that out tomorrow. He has put the knobs back, I think. Yeah, we're all right.
Did he swallow any of them?
Yeah, he didn't swallow any of them, no, because they're not purple, so he doesn't think they're Parma Violet, so he leaves them alone. But on the purple audio, when you hear it, he does sort of mention about his what he pays for in Parma Violets, and what he thinks of the studio, sort of. So yeah, so that'll be out shortly. You'll get a good. He talks a lot. Let's put it that way. But I left it to him to do the remix. The All in Kitchen Sink remix, and yeah, there's definitely a lot of styles in there. Let's put it that way. But they're all remixes of within each of us. So, yeah, I think that's my week really. Busy working and busy just doing album and live set, and the live set's, like I say, is pretty much ready to go. I think can't think of anything else. Although looking at this show now, I've got a feeling I'll start it up and I'll have gremlins on it. So
just don't do a software update, Daren. Like I did before the show.
That's one thing why I never like doing software updates, because things always go pear-shaped.
Yep.
But the only problem is, if you leave it too long, like I did with this Mac, you become so far out of date, it's a bit of an awkward thing to do. So hence the reason why I need a new computer.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
it's finding the balance of when to update it and when not.
Well, mate, I have to say, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show for,
Pleasure to been here.
The longest.
Be here.
Yeah, and I hope that you can stick around for another 250 if we're still around, if we're still doing it. I've just noticed that both our music development has, blossomed, I guess, in a sense. Like it's been something that's kept us both.
That's not what Rave says.
Just keep him straight. But
You should hear some of the lines.
it's
I'm going to have
kept
to
us true.
put a parental guidance on the album, by the way.
Well, anyway, it's good to have Rave as well, so give him a pat on the back as well. Thanks, Daren, for the
Thank you,
support,
Rant.
mate. Much appreciated. All right, on to the next. We have Andy.
Hey.
How are you, mate?
Yeah, doing all right.
Now,
Glad
you've
everything
been-
is- well,
You've been on here for been a few years now. Yourself.
yeah, I think it's been maybe 2 years, maybe the last track actually, but I certainly don't feel it. It's always refreshing, even though I'm half awake half the time when I start the show. It's always great to be here. So, although I actually finally got off my ass and actually did a Bandcamp thing.
Yay.
So
Hey.
nothing special, nothing like groundbreaking. Just I put one track up just for starters, just messing around with Ozone because I'm terrible at that stuff. So I'll put the link in here and you guys can check it out if you want. Just one track for now, just to figure out what I need to do. Yeah, just made some silly graphics for it and I had a whole bunch more going forward. But for the most part, just repurposing some hardware jam stuff I've done and doing some minor edits for sloppy endings, things like that. And a little bit, like I said, a little bit of mastering since I'm usually doing them like 2 hours before the either while the show is going on or before the show started or during the show. I don't have a whole lot of time to make sure they're as good as I'd like them to be before I upload them. So mastering helps out a little bit, but we'll see how it goes. So
Fantastic.
finally
All
got
right.
off my butt. Yeah,
Please paste that link into the chat room for us.
I did, didn't I?
Oh, sorry,
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
did,
actually
yeah.
watching.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
you did.
It's not my name.
Yep, there
in
it
there.
is.
It's a
Let me
it's
just,
a genus of flagellates called Paranema because I like them so much in my streams. So I just picked a name that actually was one of my favorite little guys, and also it's really hard to find a name that's not used these days, to be honest.
Look at that, it works.
Hey, look at that.
Yay.
so.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Okay, next. Yay,
Hello.
Ian.
Good day, good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Sorry I missed last week. We had a family bereavement. Very sadly, Jane's mum died, which has sort of devastated all of us. And we're obviously we're still processing that. And I mean, last weekend it was just sort of supporting Jane, and we did nice things on Saturday. We went, So we're in our house, as you well know, and our furniture arrived on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yay.
And we've gone from a rather reasonable sized 4-bedroomed house to a very tiny 2.5-bedroomed house with a studio. And we have so much stuff that we don't know where to put it. Luckily, we've got a garage, which is literally full. We're selling stuff, and we've had 3 trips to the charity shop this morning. But we're in properly. The studio's sort of okay, but nothing's wired. Apart from, the computer's wired and we've got internet, except that for some reason, the studio Mac keeps dropping out on the internet, but the laptop doesn't, and we're only sort of 2 feet away. So go figure. I can actually, and I will be able to hardwire the studio Mac to the Wi-Fi router, which will be a job for the future. But yeah, so far so good. We're starting to feel that it's our house now that we've actually got some of our stuff, and that's been the whole week. It was 2 days of absolute hell with these 3 guys who brought these 8 container loads of our belongings.
8
but after
container
that,
loads.
it's been,
Wow.
we had 8, and we were told it was going to be 12 container loads when we first booked them, and we managed to get it down to 8, plus a motorbike. 8 container loads. So, I mean, we didn't think we had that much stuff, but we clearly have. We've got way too much stuff. I might even be having to get rid of 1 or 2 bits of gear. certainly I think some speaker stands are going. Maybe a speaker system or two. Stuff that I really don't need now. But yeah, I'm in, and it's working. It's looking all right.
Yay!
I did think I might have to get rid of the I thought the Cronus might have to go, but like I say, none of it's wired up yet, and that'll be next week probably. But, everything's in.
Wired up, and I've been there for ages.
Oh, that's all right then. I feel so much better, Daren. Yeah. So yeah, no, it's sad times about Jane's mum, and like I said, we are all dealing with that. And but it's where we are really. It's completely unexpected. She wasn't, she was in hospital for a procedure, but she said and suddenly passed away. And we wasn't expected, which floored all of us really. But anyway, moving on.
Oh, sorry for your loss, Ian. And there's a lot of nice messages
sorry,
flowing through in the chat.
I'll have a look. Cause I'm having to look at the chat on my phone. So but I will. I will go back. And can I just say thanks to everybody who already knew, because I did tell some of the guys on Kent's Pub and the people that have contacted me. Thanks to everybody. I mean, this community. The thing about this community is when we've got issues like this and problems like this, and it's an bereavement. People are so lovely, everybody's been absolutely brilliant, so thanks for that. And I know that I've been passing messages on to Jane, and she says thanks as well, but thank you. Thanks everybody.
Oh, awesome. And just before we head down to Chris, I just wanted to let everyone know that, I kept it quiet last week because, Ian did tell me, and I just wasn't sure whether he wanted to make it public or not. So you guys now know what that was about. So, right. And last but not least... Sorry?
No, I was just going to say thanks for what you did say last week, because actually Jane and I watched that bit before we headed off into town. So we watched the beginning of the show, but no, thanks for what you said. It was lovely.
Beautiful. All right, on to Chris. How are you, mate?
G'day. Well, I'm not too bad. And first of all, sorry for your loss, Ian. Sorry to hear that. I hope you and Jane
Chris.
Get the support you need.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, good. It's nice to hear that everyone's this community's giving me the same vibes that they've given me over these last few years as well. Great stuff. Yes, well, my week has been a blur because I could swear that we were doing one of these streams yesterday, but that was a week ago. So I don't know where.
Feels like that.
I don't know where I've lost. Yeah, I don't know where I've lost the time, but I've had one of those weeks where I have no idea where the time went, and I'm wondering what I've got done. But I did get something done. I assembled my little keyboard platform thing, which is on my Mini Freak, which is holding my TR6 drum machine. This is the 3D printed affair, and it has a function of folding away.
That's really cool.
So you can still get full access to the envelopes without any obstruction, but when you're feeling in the drum machine mood, up comes the drum machine, or the S1 if you prefer. That fits in nicely as well.
They're so petite, aren't they? Those little S, and what do you?
They are very cute. They are
Rolkers,
very cute
the Rolkers.
Rolkers, yeah.
They are. Yeah. So that was assembled out of 3 different parts and screws and stuff that I designed and had my friend print. And so that's pretty much what you just saw. I wasn't sure what you'd be able to see, but there you can see the gap anyway that was produced. Yeah, so successful on the studio front in that sense, and apart from that, working. And yes, someone showed me a video of a electronics store, and it was a timely reminder of how out of control you can get if you collect electronics components. And it's very strange, because that's what I've been doing a lot this week, in these last couple of weeks, because my workplace is beginning to shut down, and in part of that process is getting rid of all of the electronics that we've had stored up in our storerooms for many years, many years, like back to the 90s. And they've just been putting it out there and saying, if anyone's interested in this stuff, just come and collect it. Oh, wow. God. So I think that might be why this week's been a blur. Well, the thing is, I don't, which is why it's so time consuming selecting each individual thing and deciding how many you've got and trying to remember whether I've got enough of something before or not. So I'm writing a spreadsheet and yes, getting a little bit out of control, but I think we got the actual quantities under control, so it's a good thing. Yes, so that, and have I done any music? Oh, I was playing around with the Texture Lab because, people guilted me out last week, unintentionally, but I forgot that the Texture Lab was there and I pulled it back out again. And I started mucking around with the live mode. I haven't done anything I haven't recorded anything, but I was feeding radio signals into it and just seeing what happened. And I even put in a few streams that were on, like last week's stream. I was running through just to see what it sounded like, and yeah, it's interesting. It kind of seems to turn everything into what's that called? Pull stretch. If you turn the knob all the way up, anyway, it seems to turn everything into that. But if you turn it back down again, it's a little bit more glitchy and stuff like that.
Like an old Nokia mobile phone.
Yeah, not quite that. No, it's more kind of ethereal than that. But yeah. No, it's interesting. It requires. I think it depends on the source material what you put in. But it was live. It was strange what it was doing. As I was listening out for what you talked about, Rants, where there's a long delay, where the buffer takes long. You can actually turn it down really quite short, and such that does sort of almost seem real time. So interesting. Might do some more exploration on that.
Nice.
Puff. That's pretty much it for me.
Fabulous. Well, that's this. That's us. Obviously, we'd have zoomies in there as well, but, I might start frothing at the mouth if I have to keep playing with this thing. I'll put the chatties in the corner anyway. Right. Sorry, I have a little bit of a frog in my throat for some weird reason. Got the water anyway. We're good. For me, I did a little impromptu live stream during the week, which you guys probably would have seen. It was just, I was kind of just thinking maybe I should do an impromptu live stream because I do them probably quite rarely, but I do them every now and then just for shits and giggles if I've got time. And all it was, we were chatting for an hour and a half. I don't know how, they just go so quick. But all I really did in that live stream is probably three things. I took some modules out of my Nifty case and put it into my modular rack. We talked about the differences between abacus and maths, and I played around with a phaser, and that was an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But when you think about it, like next time you go to a mate's house and you muck around with synths, just have a look at your watch and just look at yourself. If you're there for 5 hours or 3 hours, then you just think to yourself, well, that's how long things take when when you're not in this professional polished edit video world. Yeah. That's how long real life takes. It just you go through the motions. At the start of the show, because I didn't advertise it, I just wanted a social experiment to see what would happen, how many people came on, and I was so warmed at how many people, for some of them, it was like 4 o'clock in the morning. And what the hell are you guys doing up at 4 in the morning? They're all saying, well, this is what time I get up and I'm going to work. And I'm like, wow, and they were coming on the show and, in the middle of eating their cornflakes or whatever they were doing. It was pretty cool. I enjoyed it. So
what time was that for you? Was that morning?
It was about 11, somewhere around 11 a.m.
11:20 or something.
Yeah. Some sort of like midday sort of almost, and it was just an hour and a half anyway. So really, when you think about it, that's kind of like the very, very early part of the day for the UK, and it's the very, very late part of the day for the US. But it's right in the middle of the day here and where we live, and it was just quite interesting, I think, to see who was still up and about and what we did. But I might do some more of those. Because we're talking about today as being the 250th Synth Geekery show, but that's not how many times I've done live streams. That's just how many times I've done the Saturday show. It's probably like around about 300 if I was to count all the live streams I've done. We've done special like live streams before, impromptu live streams. We've done shows where we've had, we've talked to MIDI people, we've talked to Sonicware. It's been some really, really cool, interesting stuff over the years. And, just to think, like, it's kind of bizarre, but, like, all of us do this just for the love. Like, this is not a paid job. The amount of stuff that we've done for the last 5+ years, it's crazy. And I kind of think, like, I'm thinking to myself that is the camber of the life of a musician, really, isn't it? We kind of, as artists, the old saying, starving artist, it's kind of how it is, isn't it? We just plod along and just block out, the knockers, block out the noise, and we just keep going down our path, and that's how we do it. That's how we love it. So if anyone ever wants to do something, just do it, is what I'll say. Like, I'm always going to support anyone here, whoever wants to do it. And I know guys have started YouTube channels and things like that. I definitely wouldn't go into it thinking that you're going to be getting rich or anything like that. But if you're doing it,
absolutely not.
If you're doing it for
you're going to get poor.
The fun, or if you think you can do better, I mean, you could just easily do better than me. Look at the start of this show. Just do it, is what I say. And, add your, that'll be your flavor. Think of all the different YouTubers out there and all the different musicians. We all are different flavors of ice cream, if you want to look at it that way. And, you're giving everyone a taste of your flavor, which I feel is kind of how the world is. And Ian was saying it before about the synth community. The synth community is amazing. It's actually probably better than a lot of other communities I'm part of. I would have to say it's probably my, I'm a bit biased. It's my favorite. The people that are in it are my favorite people, probably because we think alike. We kind of have the same sort of motivations. We have the same sort of loves and similar lives, I guess. We all live in different countries, but we have similar lives in a way. Probably most of us will probably have day jobs, and some of us do work in the industry full time. That's fine, but in a way, it's your day job. And then you've got this synth caper on the side. I kind of feel like if I was to go back in time and I had the wisdom of what I know, would I not do it? No, I would definitely do it again. And it's one of those things. If you ever ask yourself that, 20 years ago, if I knew what I knew now, would you do it again? These are good questions to ask. And I just want to say one thing too before we get onto the main show. Is kind of like the guy that told me to do this. You're gonna absolutely be really surprised about this. Was Nick Batt from Sonic State. He was the guy that told me to do this. Cool. And you'd think to yourself, well, why would he do that? Like he's got his show, and why would he want thousands of sort of offshoots, out there? Well, he had the same sort of the same theory. All it does is it just grows the synth community, and actually, it's in a way, it's kind of important because it has not in any way ever taken away from what he does at Sonic State. And I just want to put hats off to Sonic State, by the way, because they've just reached 800 episodes.
Wow.
So their milestoning is incredible. Like, what's that? 15 years, 16 years. That's a long time.
Yeah.
There used to be a podcast before that, didn't there?
Yeah, I'm going to say it used to be an audio podcast, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's when I first noticed it.
Yeah. And look, at the end of the day, all that's going to do for them is that's just going to grow the community even bigger. And these are, if you're good about people and you're good about supporting people out there, they're always going to return the love. So, if you take it on like, competitively, if you do it that way, you're just going to create that negative energy and people won't return the love. So I just wanted to make that point. Just quickly too, wanted to catch, I think it's just disappeared off the screen, has it? Damn it has. JP Page 2 put in the $5. Thanks, buddy. It said on there, congrats on the 250 shows. I can actually, if I'm clever, I can actually capture this. Ooh. Where is he? Oh, because it's working now. I can do this. When it updates, it'll update. Trust me, it'll update.
Yay!
Come on, update. Anyway, this is a good ad for Andy's. There it is. It updated.
There you go.
Hey!
Good on you, mate. There we go.
I like the little shake. The little shake was good.
Yes.
Little animation.
Animation.
Beautiful. So before we go any further in the show, I just want to clear that off the queue. I do want to say hello. Actually, I was there to all the chatties, and you guys have been a massive part of this show. In fact, if you want to think about it from a technical point of view, you guys were actually the first guests on my show. The chatties were my first guests because, basically at the end of the day.
Okay, who has the snacks?
Yeah, I've just muted him. It's Ian. He's munching away on some crisps, I think, or some bickies or something. I'll put him back on in a sec. Anyway, you guys are the first. You guys are definitely not going to be the last, and it's awesome having all you guys on the show. Each week you've added your 2 cents or your $5 or whatever you've added. Your comments, your support, sometimes your help, even today. And it's really, really nice to have you. So, there's a big special mention, obviously, to those who are currently our channel members and our patrons. Obviously, I do have to mention those first because they are pretty important. And that's these guys here. So there we go. There's the channel members, and you guys can see the channel members in the chat with their cool synthy logo next to their name. And if you guys want to join, it's pretty easy to do that. If you're wondering what the different colors are, I showed this I think last week, didn't I? The channel membership badge grading thing. That's it there. If you're ever wondering what the colors mean. It's just a YouTube feature, so you can actually set a different color for different longevity, basically. And there are a couple of pinky / purple colored ones there, for sure. Beautiful. And definitely not least at all. It's not that at all. It's just, some people roll a different way, but it's nice to have the rest of you there. Mac, Synchrotron, Andy, Matt Brown. We've got Robbie Puricelli as Failed Muso. Wagoo is actually one of our patrons. Kissing the Machine. It's nice to have you as well. And, James. Dr. Synth, Manny's there. Nice to have you, buddy.
Kenty, baby.
Oh, my goodness, Kent.
Mr.
What the hell?
Spong. From him and the Mustang. That is a privilege.
Oh, that is lovely from you,
Lovely.
Kent. Thank you very much. A gentleman and a scholar. Marky, of course, good to have you as well. Future World Machines, I don't know if I mentioned you, but definitely good to have you. And for many, many, many shows you've been around. Half God, Half Beast, of course. Nice to have you, buddy. And the Breathalyzer, which is Sean Johnson Music. Awesome to have you, mate. Devoid of Funk. He was pointing out that Ian was eating crisps. He's not now. Don't worry. Ian's definitely not muted. You can hear him now.
Sorry about that.
He's been a good boy now. The Wookiee's there. We've got Azio Head, who's Bert. Bert has been probably with me on Sonic State in the days, in the IRC days. And he came across probably almost from day one. Same with Wagoo. So it's good to have you, mate. And you've been a good supporter of me, and I do appreciate it. Obviously, Retro Kits has been in the chat as well, and you saw Garrett on the show earlier. Steve Cresshead's there as well. Nice to have Steve for many, 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 many years, and Babs as well, Lady Aptitude. She's also been around for a long time, and much appreciate your support as well. And do understand I am going slowly through this week because I want to make sure I try and get all of you Big thank you to Future World Machines for the £5 as well. And it says, congratulations on the 250, Ranzee. Thanks for being here every Saturday. And that's fantastic, mate. Much, much appreciated. As I'm scrolling, I'm just hoping I haven't forgotten anyone. George Kempson, another one that's been around for ages. Thanks, George, for being a support, mate. Much appreciate your comments during the show and your support's always nice to have you. Steve Elbows, of course. Big Steve, having him around is great, and his knowledge. So yeah, and I think, have I got everyone? I'm pretty sure I have. Simon Great Batch is there. I think I missed out Simon, and I did mention JP Page 2 earlier before, so I thought that kind of counts, but I'll say him again because he's an awesome guy. So, and then we had Dead Men Walking just coming in just as I hit the button. So there we go. Now, 250 shows means nothing really when you think about it, because we just rinse, repeat. And each year, each day, each month, whatever, we would just put out the new stuff.
It's that self-deprecating humour we love.
Yes. Now, one thing I will, if we get a week where we don't have any content to give you, we will still manage to pump a show out and find something to talk about. And I don't think it's that hard. Oh, geez.
Manny. Can't talk about anything.
Manny with the 1999. Thanks very much, mate. You don't look a day over 249. Thanks, buddy. Thanks, mate. It's all those frequency modulations that pass through my skin. Good on you, mate. Fantastic. But guess what? No matter what day something happens, whether it's a birthday, whether it's a 250th show, whether it's something, there's always new gear, there's always memes, and there's always Price Watch, and they are going to be on this show this week. Do not worry. Let's start off with our segments. Let's go. Keep the chatties flowing. We'll cross over to you guys as we go. This one I thought of JX3D Henrik as this one came out, because obviously he loves being Danish. He loves the Lego and stuff, but it's a Nord. Come on, guys, this is the best one we've ever seen. I think that one definitely had to be on. I don't know if these are AI generated. What do you reckon, Andy? I think they are.
The keys are messed up, so it looks AI. Yeah.
They're getting pretty good, aren't they?
Sort of there. They're good, but you don't look too closely.
I think the legs on one of the Lego characters looks like it's backwards and weird. So I'd look AI from that point as well. Anyway, let's keep going. Sold the synth. This is really personal, this one, so please shed a tear for this one. Sold the synth, had it for a year, but could not live with only 100 preset slots. That was in May. In June, we've just released a firmware update to add 400 new preset slots.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And the comments on that one was like, don't you just love hardware? Yep.
Timing is everything, yes.
Yep.
Well, hardware that's mostly software these days, right?
Yeah.
True.
Computer in the box. Yes, this one is quite devilish. Putting reverb on the sub bass.
Ooh, that really is the dark side.
What type of reverb, though?
Yeah.
Anyway, what else have we got here? This one, I can hardly see it, actually. Is there a better way of doing this? Let's see if we can... Where do you see... Oh, no, I can't do it that way. Oops, accidentally got rid of that, and that was not a good idea. Where do you see yourself in... What the hell happened to my memes? Let's go back here.
Oh, it's all going pear-shaped, isn't it? I just come back.
Where do you see yourself in 50 years? There we go. Where do you see yourself in 50 years? And it's a guy...
That's me.
40-inch
That's me now,
screen.
never mind in 50 years.
That's Kent with his
That's
giant
the thing,
monitor.
isn't it?
I just wish that was like a bit more zoomed in. Can we zoom in?
That's me with some glasses.
The problem is you put your neck out looking for the left of the screen, then to the right of the screen, then to the bottom right-hand corner, then to the top left.
There we go.
You do your neck out. Yeah.
That's just not a bad idea. I mean...
It's a nice idea, but I think you want to hold the monitor and move the monitor around with your hands so you can look at the different parts of it.
I think shoving it in a
I'll probably
corner...
have it slightly smaller, but bigger glasses.
It probably shouldn't be shoved in the corner. Bigger glasses, definitely, Darren. Definitely.
Yes.
And the last one, which you guys saw...
Like times 100.
You saw it sneaking up on us, was this one. I actually stole this meme off of someone, and I just added one extra little bit.
Ouch.
The guy that created the meme, he put the Roland Groove Box in the corner, and I just added Electron's display up the top, because I just thought, well, you know, while we're slapping, let's slap. And I thought of Daren when I did it too. There we go.
That's how all screens look to me, even the Force.
What was your favourite meme? Starting with the Lego, then the selling your hardware before it gets updated. Reverb on the sub bass. The big screen, because we're all heading that way, or the grain of rice. Let us know in chat.
I don't know. It was going to be the update one, but the grain of rice one's pretty good.
I like the grain of rice too.
Grain of rice one was pretty good, wasn't it? Yeah. Lots of people are saying reverb on the sub bass, or is that just Andy saying it multiple times? Andy, is that one of your tricks, mate?
Only shimmer. Has to be shimmer.
Andy said it 3
Fill up
times
the
now.
screen. You cheeky.
I'm gonna go with.
What?
Ooh. I'm gonna go with grain of rice because Future World Machine said Electron screen, and that's the same thing. So we're gonna go with grain of rice. Okay. Well, I think that one sneaks in.
I had to pop out, so I didn't see the. I had to pop out, so I didn't see the reverb on the sub bass. But I'll probably go for that because on my live set, I'm going to put reverb on the sub bass while I play live.
Excellent.
Subharmonics, and tail that baby, and then freeze it, Darren.
Yeah, freeze the reverb on the sub bass.
And then you've got
10-second reverb on your sub bass.
That's how his normal show sounds.
No, but I'm just thinking like Darren's going to have the club owner running at him going, "You bastard, you've just broken all of our speakers."
I was going to say. You can't handle a bass.
Nothing like a bit of EQ, hey Daren. Right, let's go to news. Wagoo said that he's beyond the big screen. What are you doing, like projecting onto a 90-inch wall or something now, Wags? Let us know, mate.
He's in virtual reality now.
Yeah, he's wearing the
projector with a giant wall. Yeah,
he's wearing the Apple glasses. Right. Obviously, you guys saw this news this week. The Behringer Model 15. I'm pretty sure they leaked this a little while back, and we looked at it. I wasn't sure if they named it then, but yeah,
sounds familiar. Yeah, I think they did.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is now a thing. You can, soon you can get this. So, just a quick one from me because I don't really know if we really need to spend a lot of time on it, but it's $329. It's pretty much the Moog. Is it grandmother clone?
Grandmother.
Yeah. So
Apparently, it sounds exactly the same.
Probably.
According to Starsky Car.
According to Starsky, yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys have probably all seen his vid anyway.
Points,
Yeah.
But I already have a Model 15 right here. I already have it.
Yeah, on your phone. Exactly. I don't know. Like, I think. I mean, what's a grandmother cost you? It's probably about $2,000, isn't it? US for a grandmother.
Something like
retail.
that. Yeah, it's up there.
They weren't too expensive, like compared to some of the other Moogs, but
for Moog, it's they're a good price. Yeah,
they were a pretty good price. Anyway, $329 is the RRP, I think. So the street price will probably be less. I'm thinking it'll probably be, sub 300 for sure, like $299 or $279 or something like that. By the time we get it, I think
you can buy it from Anderton's for a 2 check.
Just say that again, Ian, because you glitched out with the audio just then.
I think you can buy it from Anderton's for about $260. I was just going to check.
But that's pounds.
So
don't
you
forget.
can't get it straight. Yeah. You can't get it straight away. I think
Yep.
it's got to be a couple of months.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Who actually wants? Oh,
You
shit,
can
add
at least
Daren.
order it.
Sorry, poor Daren. I keep forgetting to add him. Who actually wants one of these? I mean, it's a mono synth, right?
If I had the money, it'd be interesting.
Yeah.
I'd probably, if it was around when I got the Model D.
JP Page 2 wants one.
I probably would have gotten this because of the patch points.
Yeah.
Although it kind of looks like a
Honestly,
rebranded
so I don't
Neutron.
need this.
So
It does, doesn't it?
I think so too, Andy. But like for me, I don't know, Daren, if you probably went on the same boat as me, but how many monosynths, analog monosynths, do we really need? Like, really, truly, do we really
I have
need?
way more than I ever thought I would have.
It's a pretty good question, though.
Yeah,
don't you
me
agree?
too.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of that question? Like, there's going to be a
I think
point where we just don't need any more. Like, I think they need to do something different.
I think, aren't we sort of? I sort of
N
suspect
plus
we're all on a journey, aren't we, of monosynths? We kind of go through the phase of needing to hear all of them and needing to own all of them, and then we kind of start going, you know what? This one's my favorite. That one's my favorite. That one's my favorite, and then you have a few less, and then years go on, and you have a few less. And I don't know where we end up. Do we end up with just one monosynth in our setup? I don't know.
I mean, I have a Matrix Brew. It's a huge monosynth. Although it has paraphonic, it's still a monosynth, really. So
You guys,
it's a
we've got
beast.
the answers to that question. You just bring the chatties in. Kissing the Machine said the answer to that question is N+1. That is correct. Matt Brown says it's 42. That's how many monosynths we
It
need.
is 42. Yeah.
And Bert says we need as many as we need cowbell.
Oh, wow, I haven't heard the cowbell come up for ages.
Yeah.
I forgot about the cowbell.
You
Yeah.
can buy it for $269 here, but you won't get delivery until the 8th to 12th of November.
And I wouldn't trust that either.
No.
Yeah, I'll wait till they're actually in stock.
I wouldn't. So the thing, I've got a
Yes,
problem with
ditto.
that. Tell me about this, guys, in chat as well. If you've got a bunch of money, say it's 270 quid, right? Would you give that to a company to sit on for 8 months, 7 months, 6 months? I mean, it's just doing nothing. It's just sitting in there, just so you can be one of the first to get one.
Well,
I
I
think
gave
I think they're getting
$1,000 to Osmos. Waited for 4 years almost.
Yeah.
So,
And would you do that again, Andy?
because I like the Osmos, yes, I would.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
What
As long
about?
as
What
I-
did you say, Chris? What were you saying?
I did it once, and I don't think I'll ever do it again, but you never know.
You did it
Sometimes
with the
GAS. I did it with the Behringer
the
Pro
Pro
800.
800, yeah.
Yeah,
And that
yeah.
was a while, wasn't
just-
it? It took a while.
Oh, yeah.
And if I
like 2
remember
months.
rightly, Chris,
I
you got
went
annoyed
to
because I didn't wait in the queue and I got mine about a week after yours.
No, Rance, I thank you for waking me up from my slumber, because now I know how to do it properly.
Yeah.
Refresh.
I don't do
refresh.
that. I wait till it's in stock, because sometimes if it takes a long time for it to come in stock, you can guarantee something will come out that you think, I rather like that more. And if I've already splashed my money and put it
Yeah,
in,
you got.
waiting for
It's
something
tough to
that'll
hold
probably
your
gone
nerve.
off by that point.
It's tough to hold your nerve, though. Sometimes.
I did do it with the X key thing, which was what, 200 and some quid. I wouldn't do it again. Definitely.
Yeah, I did it with the. I mean, I've done it with a few things, but the worst one I ever did it with was the Isla Instruments, the S2400. That just dragged on and on and on and on, and and then we the way that it got released into the community, it was just painful, because people were getting them 12, 18 months before other people were getting them. So
I had a whole bunch in a row. I had Chordbot, Theory Board, the S2400, the Osmos. They're all like these huge gaps. It's crazy.
Yeah. So I don't know, guys.
Omega hasn't come out yet, so yeah.
What about the chatties? What are they saying? Like, do they? I don't know if I caught it in time, if I was too slow. It's still talking about mono synths.
Hell, I don't even get anything off Amazon if it says it's like 4 weeks away before you can get it. If it's not in like next day or next 2 days.
Well, there's
I'm with you on that.
see, there's a comment that kind of leaks down my sort of way of thinking from devoid of funk. Right? He says, "I'd rather buy some Bitcoin and watch it rise or tank." You know, that's the thing. Like, at least your money is actually technically doing something.
Well, it is Rant. It's doing something to their bank account.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's just...
It's earning them interest.
You're
because they bank it as soon as you pay.
Yeah.
You're
They're
renting a
banking
place
it.
on the waiting list.
Although if you are getting it through like a Kickstarter thing, you are getting a deal. If you wait, it's going to be way more expensive. So
That's
you
true.
are saving money.
The Kickstarter
taking that
one's
risk.
not too bad. Yeah,
It
depends on how good
different
the
category.
depends on how good the Kickstarter offer is, though, right? Because some of those Kickstarter offers are only 5%, 10%, and you think it's not even worth
I
it.
got burned on one or two of them where I got nothing. So
True.
Yeah, I've
You gotta
never
watch them.
done the Kickstarter thing. I really don't like it. I don't like the concept of a Kickstarter. You know.
Well, this one ain't
No,
on
I've
Kickstarter.
There's some things I've really liked, but I've not done it.
This one
well, even
is
Bux was done through Kickstarter recently. That new Bux book was a Kickstarter, right? So
look.
some things have to be done that way.
If you've got this vision where you've got a whole bunch of Behringer modular style desktop synths and you've got a rack waiting for these, that could be a cool thing, you know. I've got no more space in my little 19-inch rack thing over there now, so there's no more room for any more of these for me. So sorry, Behringer, it's not for me. Probably you guys. Any of you guys want to get one? Put up your hand if you're going to get one. No, I kind of feel like I could be wrong, but I kind of feel like that's a good subset of the market. So it'd be interesting to see the sales figures in about 12 months' time of this compared to, say, their Model D sales figures in their first year. Do you know what I mean? Because the Model D definitely, like, that struck a chord with a lot of people.
Yeah, timing.
I've got the Model D. It's great. It's really good.
Yeah, and
but
X101 in
there's
chat
another reason why I
says,
don't.
where's the Proton? Exactly. And Darren's asking the same question, even though he didn't think of it.
Put this out instead. They said
No, but it was. But that's I think Chris had said something, but that's another reason why I don't buy anything when you have to wait for ages, because a lot of the time when you first go to buy it, it's basically because of your gas, just wanting to get it rather, and then when you wait a bit longer, you realise I don't actually need it, and whereas I'd have put the money out, sat there waiting, and like I think he said, is it the sample tracks? How many people use them now? It was all exciting, but do I really needed it? No. And luckily I didn't put any money out.
It was never fun to use. That was the problem. So even if but if you have a trusted
Darren,
source, then it's worth it sometimes.
Darren, just follow my finger. Ready, set, right down there.
Yes.
That's where Sample Trek is.
Mm-hmm.
Are you on the latest update?
But that's you, Ranz. What I was saying is, I even though I fancied it when it first came out, I wouldn't need it. I wouldn't use it. I'd be just using my iPad or something.
Mine's still in the bag.
I'm quite glad I didn't back it. I wanted it at the time, but didn't buy it.
Speaking of the Sample Trek, there was a really cool video that came out. I don't know if it came out this week, but I saw it this week, and I think it was shared on social media by someone this week anyway. And he played like an Asian sort of string instrument, and he played, I think, an octave of notes on that, and he did it into the sample track. He chopped it up into different, what do you call them?
Phrases.
Choppings, slices. He sliced it up into different, and then he turned it into a polyphonic instrument, and it was a little clunky, but I'm still seeing people come up with weird and funky ways of using that little sample track, and it's very limited compared to like an MPC or something like that. But it's just so, I don't know. I just
very
find
capable.
it really
it's just
cool.
not that fun to use. Yeah, it's just that's the problem.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Shall we go to the next? Next, the Dreadbox Mermax. Now, I did have a video lined up for the introducing the Behringer model. I'm not even going to play it. Bugger 'em.
Moments past.
What about? Why don't we play this one instead? Why don't we give Dreadbox some
Let's have a
love?
look at some more loveliness.
Oops. There we go. Now, the big thing about this was that the message at the end of that video where they're saying it's limited to 300 units. I mean, they're going to sell them all.
That's me done then.
Oh yeah.
This is probably all gone now. Like, we're going to be looking at this going, oh, yeah, let's get one. And by the time we hit the buy button, it's probably gone. In fact, I've got their website open, I think. Can I buy it? Let's see. Add to cart. It's in stock.
Can't even save up to buy it.
It's in stock. Ships in 2 to 3 working days. Let's have a look.
So this one won't have a kit option. It's just going to be pre-built, right?
Now, this, by the way, this is going to be 2,180 euros. And I don't know why they're charging me VAT because I'm not part of the EU or that country. But anyway, and shipping on top of that. So if I was to pay VAT, I'm looking at 2,703 euros and 20. What are euro cents? Are they called cents? Yeah. And then you've got to calculate your shipping on top of that. So anyway, that's just a bit of food for thought. What do you guys think of this?
Duty.
And import duty. Yeah, for us, it's going to be nasty.
So you're
It's
looking
well
at
at my price
$3,000,
range,
aren't you,
unfortunately.
You're looking at more than that, Ian.
Just,
For me, you'd be looking at probably close to $4,000 by the time we pay the import duty,
getting
the
stupid
GST, the freight. But okay, so just to remind you guys what this is, it's a full analog synth with 8 voices. It does have kind of like a pretty cool, funky, like oscillator mixing section on it. I'm going to get a better version of that picture for you.
Stereo pan voices.
Yep.
LFO per voice plus a global oscillator.
Why does it keep doing that?
Oh, it's going through the other news items.
Oh, it doesn't matter. I just can't seem to get this thing to work today. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Darren.
Happy 250th.
thank you very much.
Let's just give up.
Anyway,
so 24 dB
gone.
resonant low pass. No, he's still there. 6 dB high pass, 6 dB low frequency booster, 2 envelope generators, 9 LFOs, 1 per voice, 1 global, 8 analog stereo BBDB chorus, chorus flanger comb filter, nostalgic hybrid stereo delay with up to 1 second of delay, stereo spread system, which is what you mentioned, Chris, super fat creamy Murmux engine, and there's 1 knob per function, which is something that a lot of people like, and 150 presets from factory and 249 user spots for you to add, and it's handmade wooden enclosure. So it's basically one of their flagship bespoke type instruments. They're kind of aiming it at that market. If you're a big Dreadbox fan, you will probably snap this up quicker than you can imagine.
But no.
I can think of a few music producers will definitely be buying one.
Yeah,
because I hear this stuff all over their tracks.
I love the sound of it. It's kind of...
Oh, yes. I'd love the sound of it too.
If you wanted to give it a sort of... For me, if you wanted to give it a sort of a similarity, I think it kind of heads a little bit towards the Arturia Polybrute in similarities. That's kind of just the gut feel that I've got. So if you were thinking... It's an analog synth, right? If you were thinking, okay, what does this sound similar to on the market? The closest thing I can think of is the Polybrute. and I don't know if it's because the filters are similar sounding. I'm not sure if the oscillators are similar in some way, but that was just my gut feeling anyway.
I like my Dreadbox, the original one. Well, it was the sort of upgraded to the original one, and they just made a few tweaks to it. And I like Dreadbox stuff, but it's obviously out my price range, and with it only being 300, even if I could afford it, it'd probably have gone. Yeah. But yeah, I like Dreadbox stuff.
It looks nice,
again.
But
yeah,
a bit pricey for me.
Yeah, it's up there.
It is, yeah.
I have some Dreadbox stuff. I don't use as much as I wanted to, but I do like their stuff. So,
well, this is a better view of it anyway. So there's your oscillators. It's kind of interesting that mixing section, the way they've got it. I like that. It was kind of nice. But in terms of simplicity, it's quite a simple interface for a polyphonic synth, I thought.
Yeah.
And that could be the genius of this instrument. Like when you look at a lot of polyphonic synths, they can be a little bit complex.
You get lost in the weeds at times.
Menu diving with menus or too many knobs. This is probably, one of the simpler sort of designs, but it's definitely not simple in its ability. That's for sure. Anyway, this is kind of a remake of that one that they did a few years back. So it's not a massively groundbreaking new thing.
They had the Mermox, didn't they have the Abyss? Hades, Erebus. There was another one, I think. Well, that was even bigger.
Erebus was their first, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You had the Erebus, didn't you, Darren? Nice. Or you've still got the Erebus?
I've got it just there. I've still got it just there.
Yeah, and I think you got the first version, didn't you?
I got they did the first version, and then they just made a few tweaks to it, which was like it wasn't a Mark II as such, but it was a tweaked version of the first one because they had some issues with it. So I got the sort of second.
You got the tweaked.
It still looks like the first edition, the tweaked version, yeah.
Yep.
And then they
have the one with the built-in effects, but I can't remember the name of it. That little black box with the built-in effects.
Abyss.
Third party. What's that one? No, it's a monosynth.
The one that they did with Polyend.
It's a collaboration.
Polyend one.
What the hell was that one called?
Oh, yeah, Medusa.
No, there's another one.
Okay.
Another one.
That was what I was thinking of.
You give out the...
No, it's a cool, but
the Polyend one.
80s inspired one.
Yeah, I'll have to look it
collaboration with someone else. Typhoon.
Synovibes.
The Synovibes.
Typhoon. Yeah, Synovibes did Typhoon.
That's it. Yeah, that's a nice one.
Yeah, they did a special edition. Yeah. That's probably one that I will be having to get if it's another Dreadbox one that I do get, by the way.
Now, I warn you that Super Booth I said to you before that it's going to be massive for those who love modular synths. And I don't just mean Eurorack, I mean there's other modular synth people there as well, but probably majority will be the 3U type style of modular synths. Starting with quite a few things here that we're going to get through. I just wanted to show you some of these because I kind of thought they were interesting. And I'm looking at these on Modular Grid, by the way. So there's 3 products from Broadbrain Music, and this one in particular is interesting. This is a I/O. It's 30 channel direct input output. So it's part of their direct multi-channel audio series, and you'll see 2 more in a sec, which interconnects to provide a multitude of audio outputs to Eurorack. I/O can be used as a signal input for a DB25 or the TRS modules. You'll see those 2 in a sec. Or alternatively, it can provide the Acceleron mixer with up to 15 stereo direct outputs at Eurorack level. So the features of this, and you'll see the next 2 in a sec, you'll see why this kind of works. This is only $99. This is kind of like the companion module. It connects to the DB25. So if you've got a mixer that's got DB25 connectivity, this sort of expands that out. And then there's also a TRS module. It does have bidirectional signals and on 24 mono and 3 stereo 3.5 millimeter. It's passive too. So that's that. the next one is the TRS. This is a 12-channel direct output. It connects to the other module I just showed you, the I/O, and also connects to the X-Cellon mixer as expander. Balanced line level audio outputs at 1/4 inch TRS, low noise signal path. So that's that. And then this one, which is the one I think some people would be really interested in, is the DB25, which is that. It's kind of a quick way. I don't know. There's a lot of mixers that still use this DB25 system, and I actually really think it was quite smart.
So for like snakes?
They're like snakes, yeah. They're kind of like snakes, but instead of them being TRS cables at the end of the snake, they're DB5 pin, and they're for analog connections too. So this one is the direct multi-channel DB25. You can have up to 24 separate inputs through this, and obviously it connects to those other modules that I just showed you, as well as the X-Cellon mixer, and it has D-sub connectors that accept 8-channel balanced audio snakes as well. So the price of these, this is the most expensive out of the three. This is $369. The previous one was $259, and I said the first one, which was $99. So for those who are interested in I/O and they want to kind of really get multi-tracking happening, the board brain stuff is kind of cool. And also, just to mention too, the X-Cellon, I kept mentioning the X-Cellon mixer. So I'll show you why. Some people don't know what that is. I'll show you what that is.
Yep. I just googled it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if you are interested in
Very
the
nice.
board brain stuff, that's the X-Cellon mixer. Darren's disappeared, so we'll just get rid of him for a sec. These are US dollars prices here. So this particular mixer, it's been around for a little while, I felt. I can't remember when they actually released this, but yeah. What I like about it is you've kind of got input sort of clunks on the top left. Input 1, input 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you've got your channel strips, which has gain, 2 FX sends. You've got your balance. You've got a nice kind of is it exponential fader? You've got LED lights. You've got a crossfade feature. You've got mute buttons, and you've also got bus mixers. Now, some Eurorack mixers do not have bus mixers on them, which I like. So buses are a really cool feature. So if you look at the right-hand side of this, it actually kind of... Is that updating? It's weird. There we go. The right-hand side of this shows the mix out, the mix out B. So the mix out A, it should actually say, because that thing's in the way. The 2 FX ends, the 2 FX returns, and the 2 FX returns can be either mono or stereo, and you also can mix A to B and A or B on them as well. So it kind of behaves like more of a desk type mixer.
Very much so.
In that sense. I thought, when I first saw this, I thought it was a bit pricey. But there are some kind of cool things under the hood too. Like they're using discrete control voltage inputs, and they're independent. They're using, instead of chip based, like some mixers are chip based, so your channels are based on what a chip can handle. It's got clickless mutes, so that sort of stuff I like. So anyway, those modules that I showed you before will expand that baby out into your eurorack, or it'll expand out into your desk-based mixer. So you might have a Presonus or a Mackie or something like that. A lot of Mackies still do the DB25 too, and Presonus stuff. So depending on which model you get. Anyway, that's that. Anyone want to comment on those?
So because they're trying to get into eurorack, are they? Because there's that level difference, right?
Yeah.
Eurorack is much hotter, so they're compensating for that, obviously. So.
Yeah, and so you'll see tonight, you'll actually see a couple of different modules that play in that sort of scope. So, any like one of the things you'll notice is like if you're wanting to bring things like your effects pedals into your rack, your guitar effects pedals.
I already do.
Yeah, and in some cases you won't even notice that
Yeah.
it just works. You'll just think, okay, cool, I got away with that. In other cases, you'll think, wow, that sounds really quiet, or that sounds really hot.
Yeah.
And you'll just, you'll be scratching your head. And a lot of people just forget that Eurorack has, yeah. And we have to remember too, as musicians, there's line level. You know what I mean? And we hear that term, what is line level? We need to understand what line level is and what the dB is and the, what Eurorack level is. And in some cases, they talk about guitar level or guitar input, and that's different again.
Instrument
right?
level.
Instrument level. So it's a good idea to know what they are. If you don't know, find out. When you're working with modular, it's handy to know. Which is one of the reasons why I use ADAT, because I can bring stuff digitally through, and I don't have problems with, analog audio
Matching.
Yep. Right. Next. Okay, so Board Brain. They're going to be at Super Booth, I believe. So if you are going to Super Booth, you can check them out. And they will have the Excelon mixer there. The next one is from DPW Design. This is the Pedal IO. So, Andy, perfect segue for what you were just talking about.
Mm-hmm.
This is an interface pedal or line interface. So it's a dual channel pedal interface. It can be used for line level or pedal, as I mentioned before, in and out, or as a guitar or a bass input, as the pedal is high Z, and it will not suck the life out of your instrument as low impedance inputs can do. And then it converts it obviously into Eurorack level audio. It's designed to have more than 100 kilohertz bandwidth in both directions, and it can give you a very clean in and out impedance that will work well with different types of analog and digital guitar pedals. Obviously, the two halves of the module, they're not linked in any way. They're completely independent, which is cool. So you can use it as a dual module, or you can use it as a stereo module in that sense. And we're looking at $150 for this. And it is 4 HP. So that one's at Super Booth as well. Okay. I kind of feel like there's a few in this market now. I think we've shown a few. But that one was I thought was pretty inexpensive. So
yeah. Well, it's no frills.
Yeah.
There's no level controls, no mix control. It's
considering it could be a little bit cheaper.
What they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, DPW, just by the way, if you ever click on them in Modular Grid, they have actually got quite a lot of modules. They've got quite a lot of stuff. They've got wave folders, they've got attenuators and mixers, so they kind of play around in that sort of realm. So that's them. Okay, what's next? This one really got me interested. I actually had no idea about this. And by the way, this is a computer graphics render. So if anyone can dig up a photo of one of these in real life, I would love to see it. This is the bass drum from Vermona. Now, you guys know what Vermona do, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Now they're bringing a Eurorack module out.
Wow.
Oh, thanks, Tom.
Yeah.
It's still the fridge.
So,
Annoyingly,
what happened to my notes on this? So the bass drum is obviously a percussive. I'm just going to mute in for a sec. The bass drum is obviously a percussive module that brings the kick instrument of the DRM1 Mark IV, if you're wondering specifically. So that brings the bass drum voice just for that into Eurorack. And what they've given you is all of the channel features. So if you look at a DRM, you would see all of those knobs, the 6 knobs there, in a line. In that case it'll be the 4 knobs in a line in your channel. And then you've got the Eurorack related CV controls, and then your inputs and things down the bottom with some of the buttons as well. So it's basically the same thing, but it gives it to you in eurorack level. It gives you the 6 main parameters: the decay, the pitch, the low-high settings, the wave shaper, the bend, the time, the attack. The oscillator now tracks over several octaves, which is different to the DRM one, making the instrument more flexible, so you can use it kind of for different type of oscillator features. And it's standalone. So there you go. I would love to hear it. I would love to see it. Apparently, it may be turning up at Super Booth. That's all I know.
So I'm assuming they're going to have the whole set, right? Which would be a big old lot of HP.
Yeah. So they're saying that this is priced and TBA availability. So if it does turn up at Super Booth, get there and check it out. That's what I would say if you guys are in that part of the world. The next module is also from Vermona, and this is called the Transformer. This is actually available now for €389, and this is again, Andy, what you were talking about before. This is a product which gives you high quality output, and you're doing it from Eurorack to XLR. And what it does is gives you 4 balanced XLR outputs, and there are no level controls. It will, according to Vermona, it will deliver perfect levels as outputs. So there's no need to give it level controls. So yeah, I mean, €389 for an output module, right?
Yeah, but it's Vermona. They're not cheap. So,
and it's the big question on my brain is, does it use transformers?
Oh, look, who knows what's in it?
Because if it does, then that's a fair price. Because those little buggers are expensive.
Okay, so this is all I know. It uses audio transformers found in the TAI-4, which are effective against ground loops and hums.
Yep.
So there's your answer.
That's why it's expensive.
That's why you got the expensiveness on it.
What's in your professional mixing desks?
Right.
Your actual, your SSLs and your Tridents and whatnots.
Yeah. If you were if you weren't really worried about that stuff, though, like if you weren't really worried about the
audio fidelity,
the audio transforms, but you actually wanted some sort of relatively cheap module that will get you inputs and outputs, this is an alternative. So just so you know, there are alternatives on the market. The feedback modules mix is an alternative. And
that's a good op-amp based low noise XLR driver. Does
the job
most of the time. It's that's right.
So it doesn't do 4, it does 2, but €250 versus 389. I guess it's kind of similar price. But anyway, just so you putting it out there. Vermona are starting to get into Eurorack. Retro kids are starting to get into Eurorack. It's a sign, people. Okay, what else have we got?
Vermona have been in Eurorack for a little bit. They've had a few Vermona things.
Yeah, that's true.
I've got one of their Eurorack modules. I've had it for a while.
Yeah, that is true, Darren. You're right. Next one is this Wear and Tear by Ampersand. As you can see by the name down the bottom, it's Ampersand Wear and Tear. There is a video for this. Now, I'm not going to do the 8-minute version, 8 minute and 50 seconds. We'll just do the intro anyway, see what happens. Bye, Darren.
The Wear and Tear effects unit. This is beta firmware, so some things are still being tweaked, but all the general functionality is good. I'm running my stereo bus through the output, so it's kind of an end of chain effect. Very first thing is there's a wet and dry. We're going to start to turn up saturation.
Wait, did that just crackle, or is that just me? Let's just do that again. Sorry, I just noticed it.
Output, so it's kind of an end of chain effect. Very first thing is there's a wet and dry.
Yep.
We're going to start to turn up saturation.
Yeah, it did.
And here, just start clipping a little bit. Crank it pretty far. We'll start adding some noise. So by itself, it's pretty pure white noise. If you increase the color,
I don't think he's really telling us what it does. We'll talk about it quickly before we go on. It's a stereo cassette tape emulator. And what that is, it's basically, it gives you kind of like a time machine sort of sound of lo-fi, tape sort of level quality audio. And it's all digital. So it's emulating it, right? When you're looking at this, I kind of want you to think about like the Strymon Magneto. It's different in a sense because it's kind of doing some other things, but you do get some of those tape features like crinkle and that sort of stuff. Also, the C-Legs has got tape stuff on it too, which has got those features. So there are modules out there that kind of do this, but they do a whole bunch of other stuff as well. This guy's kind of trying to hone in just specifically on that side of it. So what I liked about this when I saw it was the amount of control and the amount of I/O that you got to actually help you with those controls. It did kind of remind me a little bit with the mutable sort of style of things. So let's keep listening and we'll come back.
it starts to be more sporadic, changing frequency and volume, little dropouts. Again, go pretty extreme with that if we want. Noise goes right into the saturation, so really turn that into a noisy lo-fi recording if you want. Inside of noise with the shift function, there's an envelope. So clockwise, the envelope follower follows the incoming signal, it gets louder when the signal is louder. And then the other way is a ducker. So when there's no incoming audio, the noise is louder. So we'll leave it like that for now.
I don't know. Why do we want a module that makes noises that I've just spent the last 30 years trying to get rid of? I don't know. I scratch my head, honestly. I mean, yes, I get it, and there's people like it, but I don't get the noise part.
Getting flashbacks from that trade, yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, it's. I get it in a plugin. I dig sort of tape emulation plugins on your computer. To work on a particular track. You want a particular track in your mix. You want it to have that tape vibe, or you want it on your master. But yeah, as part of your eurorack creative kind of flow, it's not for me. But some people really, really dig it. So
yeah.
Horses for
I'd
courses.
probably end up looking around thinking where the noise is coming from if I plugged it in by mistake.
Yes.
Yeah, tape was a necessary evil back when I was younger, but now I try to avoid it. So.
Yeah.
Although I do love watching the little things go around and around and around.
Oh, we had the one. We had cassette cologne I got when I was in Japan. It actually plays cologne in your car like an air freshener while it's playing.
That's good. That's very good.
Yeah.
I'm just really intrigued. Like, chatties, tell me, please, in chat. You guys are interested in modules that take us back to the yesteryear when we had all these noises, and that you've got some sort of control on how that you can actually produce these noises again? Is that something that kind of, what is with this lo-fi, crunchy, there's a love affair with it at the moment. Is it
Yeah,
because
there's
there's
the
not
Lo-Fi
enough
12
gear that
as
does it
well.
anymore? Is it because of that?
I think
What-
it's because the new generation have grew up with everything being very clean and digital and
Right.
mastered to a hilt.
Is it rebellion?
We've not.
yeah.
Yeah, well, half of them haven't heard of vinyl. I mean, I know it's coming back a lot more popular, but don't forget, a lot of these have just heard it well over CD quality and never heard any sort of like hissy and gritty noises. So, yeah, I can see why they all like it.
No, an awful lot of original tape. I'm thinking of things like 15 IPS Revoxes and things like that. The quality was really, really good. It wasn't always lo-fi.
No.
And lots of tape paste. You know, there were you had to keep heads clean. You had to demagnetize them. You had to work harder to get things to sound better. I have a soft spot for tape because I grew up with it. But you know, we have moved on. You know, it's interesting. I do tend to put a sort of. Occasionally I'll put a tape plug-in on the master chain just to give it a little bit of warmth because you know. Although you know, digital has got better over the years, there is still a lack of that warmth.
Yeah, I've done the same. Yeah, sometimes you can even sometimes you can even just mix it in parallel.
Yeah,
because sometimes if your bass is a particular way, it can get lost through a tape emulator, but a lot of the times it doesn't. But sometimes you do, like I did in one track, and I had to
just a little bit. You don't need too much of it.
That's right. Yeah, that's why I said mix it in parallel sometimes.
Yeah.
Like
One thing I got really annoyed with the tape is the IPS was always off. Like I had a really nice Sony recorder for field recording to cassette, but the IPS was way slower than most decks I had at home. So if I played in there, it's all sped up.
Yeah.
It's like, ugh.
Yeah, I mean, cassette quality was never great, even when we had those little 4-track recorders. You know.
Yeah.
It was all, you know, reel to reel was the way to go if you could, but it was really expensive.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, the first thing I noticed was that there was noise on that wet dry knob, and I'm starting to think that maybe it's done deliberately. Maybe not. I'm not sure. But then the whole module just seems to be like this noise effects generator. Really, it's just like a whole bunch of effects, and let's just add noise to it.
There's also, isn't there, that Bafako module that does 128 different types of noise. One of them is like tape emulation, and there's a few other cool ones like that.
Yeah.
If you want noise, get one of those.
Or literally just go down to your local thrift store and buy an old, TAC cassette player and just record your music on that, and you'll be done. You'll have lo-fi, you'll have noise, you'll have hiss, you'll have wow and
motor
flutter.
hum.
You'll have everything. It'll fill your boots. $350 for this. Go in.
I was just going to say, I have got an old mono cassette player that I occasionally put stuff through, and then re-record it off the little 2-inch speaker. If you want that sort of thing, do it old school. It's actually much more fun than just sticking a plug-in over it. If you wanted something lo-fi,
I'm establishing the fact that I don't, but that's fine.
I don't really. I mean, unless I'm working with somebody and they actually want that sort of thing, I wouldn't really do it myself. Unless I absolutely had to. I mean, yeah.
I have to say, I did enjoy loop tapes, though. I used to use loop tapes to make sound effects for the museum that I used to work at. I would make sound effects for the exhibits, and loop tapes are awesome because you could just make a 6-minute loop on my sampler and then just put it in the exhibit, and it would just keep going and going and going until it broke, and then it just put another one in. So tapes did have their use, and maybe still do sometimes. I don't know.
Indeed. Just wanted to quickly shout out to Anthony, who's saying g'day from Tasmania. And if you guys don't know where Tasmania is, if you look at a map of the world, Tasmania is that little triangular island on the bottom right-hand corner of Australia. And the famous Tasmanian devil comes from there. You guys probably know it from the old Warner Brothers
Tasmanian
cartoons.
wolf that's now there's a Tasmanian wolf that's extinct now too, right?
You mean the tiger, the Tasmanian tiger?
Yeah.
The thylacine.
It's not. It's more dog-like
know.
than cat-like, but yeah,
It's called a tiger.
I know.
We know
Thylacine.
Taz is great.
And drop tigers, yeah. There's a lot. Look, all I can tell you is that if you go there, make sure you drink.
Told you we can talk about anything.
Make sure you drink apple cider because they make some beautiful apple cider in the Apple Isle of Tasmania. Definitely go down and check that out. Right, let's keep going because there are more things. As the guys mentioned earlier in the show, if you didn't catch it, there's the new retro kits. This is the one new version. I wanted to show you guys this because, sorry, I'm just going to move Daren out of the way for a sec. This is the one new version, as in like an IntelliGel version 1U, right? This is a computer-generated render, but this is what it will look like. So the RK006 was that little thing that I showed you before, converted into eurorack format. That's the 1U version. And the put Daren back. I lost the image I had before. Where did it go? There it is. And I showed you before the prototype. I'll just quickly go to this completely here, where he shows you can see the 1U. So if you look at the little calculator looking like thing on the top right hand corner, you can see the 1U prototype actually in there, and you can also see the 3U version in there as well. So there's a close up of the 3U version closer to us. So that's what he's bringing along to Super Booth, and you guys who goes to Super Booth, you can check it out. But if you're wondering what the RK006 is, it's basically a MIDI tool / router / it's massive.
Sequencer, right?
Yeah, it could be, yeah. But let's just go to their website and I'll show you. It's a MIDI gate / hub, and just wait for their website to load and we'll go across. This is we've shown this on the show many years ago, but this is what it does: 12-port MIDI bus, USB interface, full MIDI support, 10 out, 2 in, standalone USB host from multiple USB devices, TRS MIDI to A gate, pulse width modulation, a whole bunch of stuff, and it's about the size of an Altide's tin, as you saw before. But yeah, and there's a whole bunch of things that it can do: MIDI clock generator, USB standalone host, USB MIDI interface.
Is it Arduino based?
We did talk about what it was years ago when he was on the show. I can't remember, Andy. Sorry, it's been a while.
No problem.
But you could go looking through the history of the show and find it. I just want to show you to the other link, which is the RK008. Is it going to show up? So this is the RK008, which you guys were talking about before as the MIDI recorder. It just records unquantized MIDI events and a whole bunch of other features in that. So those modules that you saw before that he's bringing into Eurorack are basically a combination of those two together, the RK008 and the RK006. And I guess kind of where we're going with that is that there's a lot of MIDI needed in Eurorack now. So, MIDI, having a MIDI router in your Eurorack is actually going to be pretty handy. Especially that, the little 1U thing, that's going to be really handy. So yeah, don't know any prices, but yeah, obviously watch for Sonic State / anyone else's videos on the retro kit stuff, because he'll be there. And big thanks to Garrett for coming on the show earlier. Even with all the train wreck of Zoom calling stuff that we had, he still persevered. He's a champion.
Hopefully I haven't scared them off.
Based in the Netherlands, if you guys are wondering where retro kits are. So yeah. Right. Yeah. When did the calculators become popular? I know. Like, they're just look at the teenage engineering.
Yes, teenage engineering,
you know, it's all.
Kraftwerk said, "I'm the operator with my pocket calculator."
That's
so,
it.
That's right.
That's true.
And he said that in the 1970s. Let's just
right.
remind everyone how long ago he said that. Okay, I think that was it in terms of product. Oh no, there's one more. No, that's it. We're done. We've got everything. Cool. All right. So, anything sort of strike a chord or I want to buy that right now with all those products we showed today?
The Mermox, if I can afford it, but I can't.
It's money for that. But yeah, no, the Mermox is the best thing out there.
Yeah,
this week.
Mermox. Yeah,
agreed. Yeah, wouldn't buy it, but yeah, it's the best thing out there.
I want to close off
the Remoto thing is cool.
14,000 tabs I've got open here on my browser.
I can't imagine how big the Remoto kit's going to be, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take up your whole stack.
It'll be a whole case just for Remoto.
I don't know. I kind of
with the sound, so I have to.
I kind of feel like if they slowly released all the different DRM1 modules as individual voices, I feel like you'll probably get a few of them.
That'll be 8 at the most, isn't it?
I'm just not sure about the size of it. I thought it was a bit of a large module. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yes, it doesn't scream.
I don't have any large drum modules. There are a bunch of drum modules that are huge. I don't have any of them because they're just too big.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem with dedicated drum synthesis modules. Although there seems to be a bit of a divide at the moment. They seem to be on either end of the spectrum. It's either a very wide module with lots of control or very narrow modules with absolutely no control.
I tell you what.
Sweet spot would be nice.
I always say this, but the Pico modules from Erica, the drums and the drum 2, they're 3 HP. I don't reckon they're too small at all. Even they've got the same size knobs as a Volca on them, but because it's linear, they don't get in the way.
They're only small when you have a whole bunch of them together. And you're trying to
but I've only got two. I've only got two next to each other, and you're only
a good point.
You're only really touching the drum 2 if you're playing it live. But usually, I will run some sort of LFO into it anyway.
Yeah.
Plus, they have slip-over knobs like Thonk and some other places sell slip-over knobs to make them a little bit bigger and easier to get to grab. So
yeah,
that helps a lot.
So most people sort of thought the Mermax was the better product out of it.
Standout.
Okay. I kind of thought the retro kits for me.
Oh yes, no, that was second on the list. If you ignoring the price of the Mermax.
I mean, I feel like you're only going to say that though if you really know what this product does. And I've got
but I did nearly buy one when we had that on the show. So, and I completely forgot about it. So when I saw when you showed the website, I was like, oh, I remember this website. Whatever happened to that idea? I forgot.
When you first held that up, I thought it was one of those OP modules, little insert modules.
Yeah. So Robbie's saying that he's getting himself a Drum Brute Impact next week. I actually sold my Drum Brute.
I still got mine.
I have a classic.
I had the original Drum Brute and I sold it because I never used it.
I have to let him know about the issues.
I like the individual outs.
Yeah, I liked it too, Andy, but I just never used it. And
the kick drum on it stinks, but everything else is pretty cool on it.
And I've got the same problem with the Behringer RD8 because I got the original Mark 1 and the kick drum on that kind of stinks as well. So so the Impact is definitely the better one to get. I don't know, maybe one day I'll get an Impact. All right, we should head on to the next segment, which we haven't done for a couple of weeks. It's this one, Price Watch. In ages, feels like it's been too long. Each one of these, hang on, let me fix that. Daren can go down the bottom. Where are you, Daren? Are you still there, mate? Daren. There. Cool. Sorry, Ian.
Don't worry.
I can always put you up in top right-hand corner anyway, like this.
Yeah, it's all right. It's fine.
There you go.
Hey!
Just for a second, I'll make it disappear because I want to read it. It says the Fender Chroma Polaris 2. Who wants to spend $5,500 US on a Fender Chroma Polaris 2?
No, they sound good. But...
I don't remember this. I think I should remember it, but I don't.
They're not that old.
No. Certainly never played one.
I think it's the price of rarity, right? So I don't see them very much.
I'm trying to think when they came out.
There was this period where I stopped actually looking at stuff purely simply because I knew that if I looked at synths, I'd want to buy one. And certainly for a couple of years, I just stopped totally looking for stuff.
I just can't think of when they came out. Anyway, that's that one. It's live on eBay if you want to get it, and it's the Retro Gear Shop is quite a well-known place in the US. $280 US to send it anywhere. Wow. It's a pretty heavy thing, so that's actually not too bad. Like I sent a Novation Impulse MIDI controller from here to the US last week. I didn't have the original box, so I had to manufacture my own box, and I had to put polystyrene in it and everything like that, and bubble wrap the crap out of it. And it cost me 150 Australian dollars to send it, and that's quite a light. It's still big, so you're paying basically for the cubic centimeters of volume
size.
Yeah. So 280 US FedEx is actually not too bad. I feel so. If people gawk at prices for shipping these days, it's probably not that bad. I don't really think you're going to get shipping much cheaper for a big overseas shipment. You might find it cheaper if you lived in the US, of course.
It can still be expensive even in the US. Some things are just heavy and awkward.
Well, that's the thing, A lot of musical instruments, they're getting sent all over the world. They are going to cost you a pretty penny to send, right? Like this one.
I mean, I can't remember how much my DSS-1 cost, but that's a heavy bugger, and shipping wasn't that bad, I don't think. But
this is an original ARP 2600. I'll just head over here so you guys can see it. So this one's on Reverb. It's an original one. We are looking at a completely refurbished, 100% working one. It actually looks in really, really nice nick. I don't know if I've seen original 1970s one look as good as that. It almost looks like that. Is that a Korg version? That's what I thought at first. But apparently it's not.
Just one that counts because that's the sort of
job
thing that he would do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he'd redo the faceplate as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, I reckon it's a new faceplate. Yeah.
This one is in Lake Balboa in California. Don't know how far away that is from Andy, but the case has been
near San Diego.
Retolexed. What does that mean? Retolexed or retolexed?
The case covering.
Is that
kind of
the black
covering.
sort of textured panel? Is that okay? Right.
Yeah.
So that could be one of the reasons why it looks so new. Yeah. But that looks so nice. I mean, 18,000. What's it? £9,000 it is.
Kent redoes that all the time on the vintage stuff. He does the Tolex stuff.
Yeah. Right. There's more. The next one is a Yamaha. It is this one. The CS30. Talking about monosynths.
Wow.
Yeah. Haven't seen a CS30 for sale for a while. It's only it's about £3,000 actually.
Yeah.
And it's a live reverb listing. Love the carpet that it's sitting on. These, by the way, these are a three
Yep.
oscillator monosynth. Sorry, two oscillator. What am I saying? Two oscillator monosynths, but it's got two filters. Yeah. Who's played one of these?
I have been on in the shop back in the day. Yeah. I liked it, actually. I thought it was really good.
Would have been well and truly back in the day in this one.
Yeah, it was.
I still kind of felt like they were still hovering around shops in the early 80s, some of these Yamahas.
Yeah, this would have been 70, 78.
Yeah, it's
79.
definitely a 70 synth, but what I'm saying is that
Yeah.
I can remember seeing these in the early 80s still in shops.
Oh, yeah.
So Yamaha was still flogging them for quite a few years. Probably, yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say much past, 82, 83. I'm talking,
Yeah,
Chris and I would have been children.
Yeah, it came out in 77, so 78, 79 was when I was, and that's the time I was looking for. I was trying all sorts of things, looking for 700.
I only ever saw one CS80 in a shop, and I used to catch the bus from home from school, so I used to have to walk from one bus. I used to catch a bus into the city, walk from one bus stop to another. It's literally around the corner, and as I walked around the corner, there was a music store, and they don't exist anymore, this music store, but they used to have a lot of Yamaha and Roland gear in there. And I remember going in there one day, and there was a CS80 in there, and it was second hand. It was not brand new. So that's how, like, we're talking probably mid-80s this would have been. So all the digital stuff would have been starting to, come out, and everyone would have been sort of getting like annoyed.
Do you remember how much it was?
No, I don't. But I just remember looking at it thinking, this thing is huge. And I saw some of the other stuff, and it looked a lot more. It looked old and
organy.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like it just didn't look. It didn't look sexy at all. And this is the impression. I actually remember this actual whole event the other day when I was kind of thinking back, and it was definitely a CS80. It wasn't a CS60 or anything like that. I know it was definitely a CS80 because it had all the features on it that a CS80 has. And I can just remember this, like this particular part of the store where it was sitting. It looked like it was just neglected. Like this is the sort of stuff where you would just shove it over there. And they had a couple of used keyboards and things in that corner, and I just remember it, and I'm thinking to myself, if only I had money.
Yeah.
And the knowledge.
Oh yeah,
that's the thing.
Also, how are you going to get home, right? You need some help.
Well, he's okay. He'll take it on a good Australian bus.
On the bus. Take it on the bus, mate.
I tell you, I remember when I bought my poly. Sorry, go, Chris.
I was going to say I could see him lugging it on the back on the buses of that era back then. Ranzee, remember they had the things that hooked up. I think you could hook a pram or something onto the back of them or something. I just remember people hooking things to buses.
You probably could have. Yeah.
See you hooking a CS80 in the back of it, rolling down the street.
I remember buying my first Poly 6, or my only Poly 6, right? So a Poly 6 was a heavy keyboard. Now, I bought it from this little music shop in the middle of York, and it came with a massive aluminium flight case. And I walked home with that thing, and it took me bloody hours. I'd walk a few
You'd have
yards.
to have rest.
I'd literally have to stop. Yeah, I had to stop. Yeah, I had to stop.
How do roadies do it? I'll never know.
I know.
My
bigger case have wheels
DX7 has an aluminium flight case, and the flight case was made here in my city. There's actually a place where you can get them done. They still exist, this company too.
Yeah.
But if you put my DX7 II in the flight case, it's still got the little sheet holder, and it's got I think it's just got a normal power cable, and that's it. That's literally hardly anything. It's just basically all synth, right? I could probably walk maybe 100 meters up the street, and then I'd have to put it down. And that's a DX7. So I imagine a Poly 6,
Hey,
you know.
I
Oh,
I
God.
bought
I mean,
this
it took me-
Raven.
with the transformer and it.
I bought this Raven, which is metal and wood. It weighs a ton.
Yeah.
I brought it from the NEC in Birmingham at a big show down there, on the train in the pouring rain, with two pieces of
Raven's
cardboard that was strapped together and two plastic bags holding it. And I bought it from there. And I got it back to Manchester, and that was that took a few hours. I'll tell you, sitting on I had to stand on the train because there was nowhere to sit neither. The bags were soaked. I was soaked, so I was trying to keep it round my coat so it didn't get wet, and it just kept sliding out of the two pieces of cardboard they'd strapped it to.
That's crazy, mate. And it managed to survive that.
It survived.
Well, it's like those old stories of
I got it all.
Depeche Mode, hand carrying all their stuff to the early gigs, right? On the subways. and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, CS30 for about £3,000. That's not too badish, I don't think. That one.
No.
The last one is this. Yes, it's a case. If you're wondering, you can buy a case. No, it's not really. I'm just teasing you. It's it tells you what it is, but Ian's blocking it. That's okay.
Just give it to me.
If you're wondering what it is, people, it is a Computone Lyrican wind synthesizer.
Oh,
Let's
Lyricon's
go.
great.
Lyrican, yeah. Let's go check it out.
Ooh, very nice.
Wow.
Now, the only problem with this one, I believe it is... Is it missing something? I read in the listing somewhere it was missing something.
Connector or something.
If you want to see great Lyricon demos, look up Pedro Eustache. He's amazing on the Lyricon.
I'm not sure.
Wind player.
Maybe this one's actually complete. I thought I read that it wasn't. Anyway, let's have a look at this. This is the original one that came out in the 70s, wasn't it? This thing came out in the 70s, I'm pretty sure.
Old school.
So it's, based on a wing and a prayer, the technology, pretty much. Pretty interesting, wasn't it? I remember watching... Cool. I forget the artist that used these, but I remember watching a video of someone playing one of these on stage, and I was actually quite mesmerized by it. They actually were pretty good. But yeah, I'm not sure if you'd want to buy one now for $2,630.
It's a proper wind synth, so you'd really have to know how to play it.
Yeah,
it's a lot of money for something that you have to practice a lot on.
Exactly.
Do you guys remember how I mentioned before $280 for FedEx shipping was good, right? Remember how I said don't whinge about the shipping price? Have a look at this shipping price: $1,456 for UPS.
Yeah, but it's expedited, so you can feel the pain sooner.
Is that in the insurance? Probably. Is that the so valuable?
It's a good point.
It's got to be the insurance,
mate. You can
it doesn't matter.
You can expedite out of this room with that. That's what you can expedite. Wow, it's more than like half the price of this thing. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Anyway, there's literally no other option to ship this. There is no other option. You've got to pay that $1,400 and something shipping price. I'm like, what? The thing's in a freaking case. Like, someone's having a
laugh.
Taking the P155. Yes. Anyway, that's the price watch for this week. There were 4 things: the Chroma Polaris, the UP 2600, the CS30, and the Lyrican for Larrikins.
CS30, please.
CS30?
Yeah, CS30 looks good.
Yeah, the CS30's got a really, really nice sound. Like, we were talking about how many monosynths do you need. If you had one of those, you'd be happy because of the 2 filters, the 2 oscillators, the 2 filters, and just some of the controls that it's got. It's just really, really nice.
It's way more than a
Yamaha would
C15
remake
with a
this stuff.
sequencer, right? I think it has a lot more going for it.
Someone mentioned in chat that the DS80 or BS80, sorry, is coming out soon. But I honestly don't know if we should be holding our breath, guys. how many years have they been talking about it? Probably at least 5.
It's the hardest one to do by far. And how many years did it
Well,
take
the
them to
O'Brien
do
clone
the...
took a long time. Yeah.
Does it take 5 years though? That's the thing. I kind of feel like we need to see a working prototype before we kind of become believers.
Well, remember the original Oberheim demo and then the big gap before it came out? Because it sounded so
Exactly.
bad.
Yeah. 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 And it still does. And it still does.
Manny says it's decent.
Interesting.
Manny says it's decent, though.
It's not an
Not the same,
Oberheim.
but it's-
That's the problem. It's not an Oberheim.
Yeah.
And they do this. They do this. They make things and they go, oh, yeah, we probably should have put that chip in, or we should have put that that voltage circuit in. Or
It has the font and the stripes. It's the same thing. Look.
yeah. Predicting Behringer timescales is a bit like the Microsoft clock when you were downloading stuff in the 80s and 90s.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's still like that.
Remember that thing that we
Sits on 99%.
you used to see
It's a
that
dead
little
house.
animation that used to go across the screen like that.
We had a great one you could replace. It was a guy wiping his butt with the paper flying across.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Steven reckons his money is on Yuli to deliver the CS80 in the next 12 months. Wow. He's a betting man. He's going
Okay.
to put his money on it.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
Okay.
I want to find out who that Lyrican, who that artist was. I'm trying to remember what it was.
Because when are we going to see the Behringer VCS3? Because that's been on the cards for a long time. Hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
So if you guys haven't
Invented
seen
by
it before,
Bill
the-
Bernardi. The Lyrican?
The Eric Persine, Pedro Eustache demo they did a while back. I'll put the link in the chat here. He's playing the Lyricon on that. It just sounds great.
Oh, I found out now. Thanks, Wikipedia. Oh my god, I'm so happy Wikipedia's there. You guys are going to hit yourself. It was Jerry Rafferty's Night Owl. That's the one I remember.
Okay.
And I
Right.
believe there is a YouTube video still. I don't know if it's allowed to still be up, but there's a YouTube video with him on it. But I actually didn't know this, but Wikipedia says that Raphael Ravenscroft, that was who did it on Jerry Rafferty. The guy in
We played the sax.
the guy in Billie Jean from Michael Jackson played it. I did not know that. Tom Scott was the guy.
Oh yeah, Tom Scott,
The guy who
big time player.
played the sax solo on Jerry Rafferty's song,
Baker Street.
used to work with Jane. At York College. She was the music tutor there.
Well, that's
where I
Raphael Ravenscroft.
Yeah,
Ravenscroft.
Raphael. Yeah.
He's
Very, very, really nice, unassuming guy. You would never have known.
yeah, he's not around anymore. He died about 10 years ago. Yeah. But I recognise his face because he's in the video. But yeah, Night Owl. Check that one out. Go see if it's on YouTube.
I think I've got that on vinyl still somewhere.
So I did not know that the Lyrican was on Billie Jean. There you go. I mean, there's
There's so much stuff on there. Yeah.
there's so much stuff on there, isn't there? Yeah.
Robbie
That's,
says, you mean it wasn't Bob Holness? No, it wasn't Bob Holness. That's true. That was one of those fake things that went round, wasn't it? It was Bob Holness played on Jerry Rafferty song.
Apparently, it was a guy called Tom Scott, and I actually didn't know this, but he's still around. He's in LA.
Yeah, he
Tom
used to
Scott.
be on TV.
He had LA Express, Tom Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a band leader for a while for a talk show. So
He's
Yeah,
75 now.
he's big on the
but-
Wind controllers too. He likes MIDI controllers.
I used to have some albums by Tom Scott.
Blues Brothers. That's where I know him from. Blues Brothers.
Was he?
Yep. Yep. I knew that guy from somewhere. Wow. See, you find an instrument,
album.
and then literally explore that instrument, like the Lorican. Bang! It literally just takes you down little journeys. I love that.
Yeah, if you listen to Pedro play it, he's hooked it to modular synth, and it sounds crazy, just totally nuts.
Yes, nice. Just checking the chatties because they always like to add little bits and pieces.
Yeah. And you're right. I remember that, Stephen. Yeah, that's Joe Rafferty and Billy Connolly with the Humble Pumps together.
Oh yeah, they did too.
The
duo.
There was a really good documentary about Joe Rafferty probably about 18 months ago. I don't know whether it was on Netflix or the BBC, but it was really, really good. I didn't know that Joe Rafferty had sort of alcohol problems towards the end of his life, and he really hated the music business.
I can't believe that Billy Connolly is 81.
Yep.
That's incredible to me. Like, I mean, I've grown up with him, right?
Yeah, me too.
He's been on TV all my life, pretty much.
Yeah, I saw him in Scarborough. I went to see him in Scarborough, and this was probably the 90s. He was so funny. He was just absolutely brilliant. 3,000 people in the Scarborough Theatre. Brilliant.
Yeah, it's crazy good. I've seen him live as well in Australia. He's a very big favourite comedian in Australia. He tends to sort of, I guess that Scottish humour tends to sort of resonate with Aussies quite well.
Because I read the book, and he has bits that he's going to say, but he doesn't quite know what he's going to do when he turns up at the gig, which I absolutely love. That he's sort of improvised. That he's got themes he's going to go with.
Yeah.
But I actually love that. That was really cool.
Yeah, I watched this thing where he talked about how he doesn't like it to look like it's been rehearsed, and he likes to get the feel of the audience, because there's every audience he's in front of has a different sort of energy or a vibe, and sometimes he'll get that vibe and he'll go, I'm not going to run with this because this thing that I've got in my head prepared, I'm not going to run with it because I feel like it's not the right vibe. So he would literally, he'll sort of paste things together in his head and just throw that and see how it sort of reacts. And it's quite clever what he does. It's like an ad-lib sort of style. Yeah. He definitely has his sets and he has his routines, and people want to hear those famous jokes, but he'll ad-lib through that. He'll link it all together.
I had a friend that ran a improv franchise for a while down in Southern California, and I went one night and he gave me some free food, and I sat through the same acts twice in a row, and beat for beat they really did completely memorize, like a lot of comics do. Every single thing is exactly the same.
Yep.
Wow.
And it's like, oh boy. I mean, I knew they did that, but I never experienced it in the same night. This is exactly the same act twice.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, I can't stand this. This is, it's cool when it's fresh, but when you, it can be annoying.
Yeah, I saw Eddie Murphy twice, and he did that.
Yes.
And the
Most
first
comics
time,
memorize it.
yeah, and the first time I saw, it was incredible. The first time I saw him, I was literally had tears running down my face with laughter. It was so hilarious. But the second time I saw it, I'm sitting there. I'm like, a couple of things got me laughing, but I'm pretty much just sitting there going,
Yep, heard that one.
Heard this before.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So probably not a good idea to do that, guys.
Yes,
see your favourite comedian and just do it once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they can have the same energy too, but it's just because it's exactly the same, it ruins it,
Yeah. Yep. Well, 250 shows, guys. What should we do next? Should we just?
Where's the cake? No, I'm expecting the cake delivery.
Yeah. Where's the cake?
I can open up Cakewalk on my computer if you want.
I got Cakewalk.
At least a scone or something, right?
We'll do our own cake. To hell with the others.
Yeah.
One of the things I was thinking of doing was showing you guys what different sort of setups I had over the years. You know, because it was kind of crazy. But if you go to my YouTube channel, I actually have this on the front page. I'll show you guys, so I don't have to. I probably should sign in because I'll get ads, right? Just give me a sec. So there's like a studio tour on the the video that I show. And I show you this because you'll look at this studio and you'll think, wow, this is so completely different. Okay, let me have a look here. And I don't know why it's not showing it to me. Why is it not showing it to me?
It's 2,000 and it's not 2,000. 250 gremlins.
2018 it was when I did this. Okay, let's just pause this for a sec before it starts to play. All right, I'm not going to play the whole 5-minute video, but I'll just give you a quick rundown of what my studio looked like. Let's get through this a bit quicker. Okay, here we go. And we can change the speed, can't we, on this thing? Let's go twice the speed and mute it. Here we go. So even some of the software that I was using, and I've got the old computer there, and the Ableton Push 1. At that time, it wasn't all sticky. Still got the iPad. Still got the AE500 Pro. Don't know what I'm just crapping on about stuff there. Some of that stuff I don't have anymore. Like the JU06, I don't have anymore. Still got the TR8, still got the MX1, still got that, still got that, still got that stuff. It shows you how old some of my stuff is. Like System 1 I've still got those speakers. But basically this is a different room in my house. And you can see the layout was completely different, probably a little bit messy looking. I don't have the Gaia anymore. I don't have the Radius anymore. I don't have the AO1. I don't have the OP1. See that, Ian? See the OP1?
Yeah.
I don't have the Electron.
How about the microcorg? You saw that?
Still got the microcorg. I won't get rid of the microcorg because it was one of my first synths. I don't have the there's a deep mine there. System Map still got Sub 37. There's the drum brute. I don't have that anymore. Some of these synths down here I don't have anymore either. Don't have the Super JX anymore.
No.
But yeah, that was my studio when it was upstairs from 2018. What are we now? 6 years later. So I did have another studio after I moved out of that one, which you guys would remember as like Daren will remember is what I did all my streams from. So if we go back to some of my earlier streams, which I'll do, and I'll show you some of the earlier versions of the show, which we can go back. How far can we go back? Maybe let's just do this one. Just waiting for the computer.
I remember before you had more like a hallway, right? It was kind of more had a hallway feel to it with stuff way in the back.
Well, I'll tell you why it looked like that, and you'll understand. So no, that's still my new studio. So I'm gonna have to go. This was previous to 100 episodes ago. So wow, how far back do we have to go?
Never look at the past.
Yeah.
Let's try. Oh, we had Skippy on the show. Yeah, here we go. This will do us. Okay, I just want to get this up because you can see it clearly. So this is the show that I did, episode 186. I still had the 2600. I had the old eurorack cases, but it looks like I'm kind of in a hallway, doesn't it? because everything's kind of down the side. But the reason for it is because this was a spare bedroom, and to my left was a massive, big queen-size bed. And you guys never saw it because it was never in shot. But that took up like the whole room, that bed. I always wanted to get rid of it because no one ever slept there or anything like that. But it was just a guest bedroom, and I just moved in. But this room is literally all...
Just have a nice nap with a view of your synths, you know, just like...
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't think I've ever slept in there, but yeah, I could have. That room's still there. It's got nothing in it now. It's just a bed now. So the bed won, and the synths moved.
Yes. It has been mentioned before that sleep should take priority over synths, but I don't listen.
I'm not sure about
But you can see that was what, 150, nearly 150 episodes ago, and we had Skippy on there.
Yeah.
It would have been early for Skippy in the morning to come onto that. We also had, when you think about who was on that, we had, I don't know if you guys remember, good old Dino on that show, top right, and we had Jake's 3D as well.
Henrik.
So, you know, that
I was going to say, what kind of idiot gets up early in the morning like that? It's...
I know.
Yeah.
Just absolute stupidity.
Yeah.
Crazy people.
Don't do it, Andy. Don't do it. I do remember watching shows with Dino, though.
Yeah. I don't know what he's been up to lately. Hope he's all right.
I don't think I could watch you live in those days. I had to watch it on playback.
Yeah.
Because most of my Saturdays were taken up with work.
We do shows like where we had Dazza from Down Under. You guys remember Dazza?
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, you look like a kid there. Look at you.
Because I don't have the beard.
Yeah.
So baby-faced.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was talking to Dazza literally yesterday or today, I think it was. So he's still around, and nice to...
Yeah, he's on Hardware Jams all the time.
Nice to chat to him. Yeah, he's a big Hardware Jams guy. You know, we've done so many different topics too. Like we've talked about mixing, mastering, you know, obviously Eurorack to death. We've talked about MIDI, analog, digital, guitar synths. We even did shows on things like right to repair synths, you know. There was a big sort of thing about that for a while. We've had manufacturers on here, like heaps of manufacturers. We've had like guys like the Poly Effects, the Hector guy, his name's Lockie. We've had Torso Electronics, obviously we had Blue Art, we had Oleg, we've had the Garrett, the Retro Kits guy, we've had Sonicware. There's been many. Yep, many. I'm not.
You did a whole iPad show once. Remember that?
Yeah, that was great. The iPad show. And we had, you know, plenty of artists, like, you know, decent. You guys probably, you know, love guys like Berg, you know, Uni, and, you know, Kent, Flux with it, Pierce, who now works for ASM, yeah.
ASM.
Yeah.
ASM. So I'm looking at. Yeah. I'm dyslexic, so I get me letters wrong way around.
I'm pretty sure I mentioned before the first show that I'm pretty sure the first show that Daren came on was the episode 14. I'm pretty sure it was.
That's a while.
Yeah, it might have been after that, but
it was a while. We were working on. Took us ages just to get on the show, didn't it? It was like
yeah. The amount of tech support problems we had. It's crazy.
Yeah, Brooksy's sort of dodgy camera where it was always above him. Remember those days?
Yeah.
It's like a surveillance camera, like it's fine.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah, it's in the top corner. Yeah.
I guess
Inky used to be on too, right? Didn't Inky used to be on the show?
Yeah. And I guess the kind of things that we used to sort of do, there's not a lot that's really changed. Like, I mean, I was just looking at my studio tour before, and I was just thinking, wow, I've still got most of that gear. And I still use it, like, prolifically. So, like, I guess if you ever sort of see this stuff and you think to yourself, like, you know, if you go through gear quickly and you don't hold on to it, there sometimes you might want to think to yourself, well, maybe I should hold on to it a bit longer because, you know, I get to experiment with it longer. I get to find out things longer. Like one of the things I noticed that with my gear is that if I've put it away and then I've come back and used it again maybe a year or two later, I might find something different about it, or I might find something new about it. And you know, all of a sudden now I'm kind of falling in love with that piece of gear again.
Yeah, usually I still can't work it.
Well, I mean, I've put a poly tracker up for sale, but you got me thinking, should I have another go at it? Really?
Yeah.
Because I came to the conclusion that it really wasn't for me. But
I've sold stuff.
I work it the first few times. It's very rarely that you're going to end up doing working it.
I spent hours on it, just really didn't.
The poly tracker.
With it at all. Yeah, I spent hours and hours learning it, trying to get my head around it, and I just thought this isn't for me though.
See, that's a good thing about it, you see, because I have to save up for things. I watch you lot get all this different kit, and as I find that you're all dropping off and go, it probably wasn't good enough anyway, because they don't like it. So
yeah.
I'll save the money for something else.
I still want the Terror. I will buy the Terror. My birthday's in August, so I will probably buy the Terror for myself for Christmas, for a birthday.
Mine's sitting right there.
There it is. Yeah. Clacky keys.
I think with me personally, it's if the first track you make is something you want to listen to again on a piece of gear, that's what makes me want to keep it.
Yeah. I didn't make anything on the poly tracker that I even liked.
Sorry, you didn't.
I didn't. No, that's the problem.
No,
I didn't like anything I made.
Yeah, I can completely understand that. And,
yeah. Well, the OPC and the OP1 and all that sort of stuff. I mean, I love the stuff I've made on the OPC. It's great.
Yeah.
And it goes everywhere with me. You know.
That's yeah.
Well, I mean, I kind of feel like, you know, the Poly tracker. Have I made tracks on it with that have made it to albums? No, I haven't, and I probably don't know if I ever will. I kind of don't know whether it will stay here forever either. Maybe I might sell it. I'm not sure, but I feel like it is very limited. Like if you guys are not loving it, it's probably the limitations that you're not loving, to be fair. But I kind of feel like if I was to be honest, what I tend to like more about the Poly tracker is I love playing with the granular and wavetable stuff in it, and I don't usually go into the sequencing side of it as much. I like just play with that, and then I might connect the MIDI keyboard up to it.
The sequencing is the most painful part about it.
Yeah.
But it is, sometimes the pain. Yeah. Sometimes if you get just get a little bit past the pain, tiny little seed of.
When I was packing up to I know it was going to be limited what I could actually take with me, because obviously for 8 weeks or nearly 3 months, I only had so much stuff I could actually take, and the dilemma was, do I take the Poly tracker with me, because it's a complete thing in itself. I thought, actually, no, I really don't want to. I don't want to spend all that time with it when I've. That's right. Whereas the stuff that I did take,
if it hurts,
more immediate.
It's not worth it.
Yeah. I mean, I had lots of terrain journeys, and on those terrain journeys, I just did the OPZ.
I was talking to someone about the tracker. I wasn't necessarily talking about the Poly tracker. I was just talking about trackers, and he had the same thing. He was kind of like, I don't like the way you sequence on trackers, blah blah blah. And I said to him, look, if you can just do one thing before you completely poo-poo on it and tell me that you'll never ever touch one again, if you can use it in the way that they used to use them in the old days, like on an Amiga, where basically you were limited to synth voices, and if you heard some of the mod files that they made in the day from trackers, there was some really amazing music that they used to produce from it. And the trick was that you would sample down, and you can do that on the Poly tracker. So you can build stuff and then sample down, so that you're not filling up all your 8 tracks with stuff and you think, oh, okay, I'm limited now. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to build, sample, bounce it down, make that one track, and then just keep going. And then eventually you'll have something pretty hefty and big. And that's what trackers are really about. I told that guy to do that, and he came back to me and he said, I love trackers now. This is amazing. This is really cool. And it was literally that simple thing.
Nice win.
Yeah.
It's nice when you can do that. Get people the right advice, or the advice that will work for them, at least.
Well, yeah, just go watch some old... I'm not old now, but I'm not saying old, sorry. Watch some new videos on YouTube with Commodore Amigas that are using them doing trackers, and watch the videos on how they use them. And Octamed, I think, was mentioned in chat before. That's one of the famous ones. I mean, I've got Octamed sitting over there on my Amiga 1200. It's brilliant, you know. The Polyend tracker can do what the Octamed can do. So you've basically got... That's why when Polyend made it, they made it with Amiga-style keys, because it was kind of like a nod to that technology. If you've never used an Amiga tracker in the day, from the days of Amigas,
didn't do any of it.
That might be the sort of the slow start you're having. But there is, I think, like, over the years I've done the firmware updates with the Polyend. You don't have to have it so it's vertical. You can have it horizontal now, if that helps you with your brain. Because I kind of felt that people don't really.
Yeah, I've left it as it originally came out of the box.
Yeah,
and, I mean, I worked out that. I mean, I watched a couple of videos on it. You know, actually, I did a whole sort of an hour and a half's course on it. You know,
did you put the Nintendo games on it?
I had a quick look, but I wasn't.
Yeah, the FM games at the back.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't that bothered about the games. You know,
should do that.
No,
just more reasons to waste time.
Yeah, well, there is that. Yeah. I just came to the conclusion, but because I didn't do it back in the day, that it really wasn't for me. But I might have another go with it before I sell it.
There's definitely a decent amount of videos even on the Polyend's YouTube channel that will teach you how to use it.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt like they're quite well done too.
So,
they are. I watched a lot of them. Yeah,
that really helped open it up for me. Those videos.
I mean, I'm going to admit,
a good price on it. So.
If I was to turn this on right now and do a demonstration of how to use a Polyend tracker in front of everyone, it would look like I'm a complete noob. So don't worry if that's how you feel.
Yeah. I did feel like that. I didn't when I used the circuit for the first time. I didn't feel that about the circuit, and you know, I did actually take the circuit with me when on our travels. You know,
the circuit was quite quick to learn, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I took the circuit, I took the OPC, and I took the finger drummer, the Yamaha finger drummer thing. Those were the main 3 bits I took.
But did you have the circuit before they had the web portal? Because it used to be a very different instrument.
No, don't think so.
Yeah, I had it when they first came out. It was still cool, but you couldn't do anything with it but what was built in, and that was it.
No.
That's why I got rid of my circuit for that reason.
I
like it, but it just when they added the portal, it's like holy moly.
Yeah, I kind of felt like it was a one-trick pony. Sequence the sounds that are already in it.
That switched me onto it. It was Lisa.
They had third-party editors too that were pretty good. I forgot the name of the company that makes an editor for it, but
Isotronic. I
looked Isotronic. Yeah, I'm still on their mailing list. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I had a chat to those guys. Yeah. But you know what? Like,
some sample packs.
What's you're finding out is that we all operate a different way. Our brains operate a slightly different way. So. Some cases it's the same. We like Ian and I, we both like the OP1, but in other cases it might be different. Like I would probably 10 times in a day I would say that I'd rather have an MPC than probably 100 of the other sequences that are out there. Just because it just works better for me. That's just how I work. Daren, now that you've got the Force, because that's basically an MPC. It's kind of Ableton-like, isn't it? In that sense, the way it works.
Yeah, that's why I like it. I mean, I must admit, I don't really write specific anything on it as a track. It's mainly down to my being as a live more instrument and
triggering.
So I don't. Yeah, well, triggering, writing MIDI. You can even add CV if you wanted, but I sort of because it's such a small studio. I sit in the studio, like I say, everything's just used as sounds, and then I just create what I want to create from the computer, whether it be analog sounds that I'm getting off on my keyboards or whatever. The force I've not gone into like actually sit down and take it away and just like write a track with it, because the only thing it doesn't annoy me is the touch screen's great, but come from like looking at a big screen and doing everything on there and then trying to touch it, it's sensitive, but it's not sensitive enough, and it's just a little bit, I don't know, there's some like really knacks that you have to get round that are just not quite as
like the warping,
they're not quite as intuitive as you'd expect.
Like the
warping. I won't go near the warping because that's just a pain. That causes me all sorts of trouble. But and also the fact that Ableton always puts a slight fade in its samples, so when you load them over onto the force, the force doesn't put the fade on the samples. So what you think's really nice coming out of there,
you get the harsh reality. But you can fix it with a little envelope. You can fix it with a little bit of envelope.
I know, but
you have VCA.
You have to go through them all then, and it's like, which ones are not working, which ones are working, and then I've like, there's a click noise coming from somewhere. Which sample's that? Because the others weren't clicking because I put, But other than that, I like it for live. It's perfect for me. I can get my other kit around it, and it does what I want.
Yeah, I kind of think like we're talking about the sample track earlier, and in a way, the sample track has a bit of an Ableton workflow. It's an Ableton-ish style workflow with that as well, which is probably why I like the sample track more than some of the other samplers that are out there. And thinking the sample track is just a tiny little thing that's like that big. You can't put it in your pocket like a
Yeah, but you see, I'd rather have my iPad. You see, because I can do a bit like Andy. I can do probably miles more.
So much stuff on there,
and it's easier to see as well.
Well, the circuit's funny. The circuit's like the funny side stuff you had earlier. That thing about the upgrades. That's the circuit when it first came out, and suddenly got all this extra stuff added to it.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. But the thing is, by the time they did that, I'd moved on, and my circuit sat in a shelf or a box or something for years, and I ended up. I can't remember who I sold it to. I definitely sold it to someone in the family. I think it would have been like one of my cousins or something.
Yeah, and I still use it for sounds. I don't bother sampling them. I just if I want to create something, I'll big it out, whack it through some effects.
It's brilliant. It's great fun. Yeah, I wouldn't spend more time with it certainly. I mean, I feel the same about the X key thing, because the X key it's had its first revision on the software, and the software is absolutely still pants. And it's not a great MPE controller compared to an instrument or a Rolly.
Well, the X key, you can no longer get the iPad editor for it.
There isn't. They promised that, and they've never.
They have one. I have it. They
it.
stopped. They don't sell it.
You have it.
I have it. It's great. Yeah, but it's no longer available.
That's interesting because we talk about the same thing.
Because there's a cool dashboard in it where you can actually set which key combos you want to do things. So I have mine permanently set now, where just like on just like on one of the Arturia things, you can basically just do some chord combinations and change your MIDI channel really quickly.
See, that really sucks how you can't use older, software for stuff.
That
just really sucks.
Yeah, developers get lazy.
This only came out. This only came out this year, Andy. We talk about
which
the
one
same
is it?
thing.
I have the X Key Air and the X Key 37.
No. It's the French thing.
Thanks for joining the channel, Robert.
Oh, that thing.
By the way, Robert's just quickly joined the channel. Just wanted to get that in. Sorry, Ian.
Show it, yeah, it's that.
That thing. Okay. Oh, they don't have the
Yeah,
editor
right.
out yet. Oh wow. Okay.
No, they've got an editor, but when because it was a Kickstarter, but I actually bought it through their website. They promised, and everything they showed on the videos was connected to a phone or an iPad.
I tried at that Buchla event. It was
They
pretty
don't-
nice.
they don't
but
have
yeah,
that. Yeah.
Wow.
You see, Ian,
but-
this is going back to harking to what I said. When I seen that advertised as a Kickstarter, I thought, I really like that.
Yeah.
I knew you were looking at it. You've got it, and you're just not having much fun with it. So I'm glad I never bothered.
It's not. I mean, no. I mean, and I have connected it to hardware since. I messed around with it a bit. The
Darren's burning
software
everyone
is
tonight.
really, really poor. Yeah, no, he's right. He's right. I'm glad I saved you some money because it'd be going up for sale soon.
Thanks.
I mean, I've definitely bought stuff
I'll probably buy a Typhoon
that
with it.
I think I
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
at the time I thought, oh, that's really cool. I'm going to buy it, and I've bought it and I've used it, and I've gone, no, that is not cool at all. So obviously the marketing has been brilliant, but the actual reality of
Yeah,
the
the
product,
market was good. Yeah,
you know,
I mean, and
Don't forget, we all get
This-
gas
this-
immediately. So that's the problem.
we do.
Well, it's like this. I don't use this very much, but it is very cool as a wind controller. So
Whoa.
and it was cheap.
Ah.
So
but I mean,
I've just seen it
it's
stick a long
it's
red
cool
thing
to
up.
develop software with the XP.
it's a MIDI controller
Oh, dear.
from Italy.
Thank God for that.
Playing on this flute again. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
it's like American Pie.
There was this one time in Bangkok.
This one time.
Well, I was going to say that when I put my Bandcamp, like I said, this one time at Bandcamp. Oh.
Obligatory joke, that one.
Jeez, that took a long time, that movie, to, like, you know, just circle around the world, and it's still circling around the world, that movie. And it's probably about, what, 20
Well,
years
every
old now,
sequel
isn't
is exactly the same
exactly,
movie,
yeah.
basically.
Sequels. Exactly, yeah. Franchise.
it? Yeah. Well, there we go. I kind of feel a little bit embarrassed about the way the show started today with all that Zoom call
Wasn't
stuff.
your fault.
Oh,
I know it's not my fault,
So
but, like,
you're
you know,
You're pushing the
back at
envelope.
I've got to own it.
Full circle.
yes, exactly.
Yeah, full circle, Darren.
Let's
That's
let's
it,
put
mate.
the
You
software.
fly close to the sun, you get burned sometimes, right? So
Yeah.
It is like that.
Bleeding edge streaming. That's what this is.
Yeah, but
And
not even that.
like I say, but technology's
Even
great in it because my laptop's working fine on the Wi-Fi that's in the house, but my studio Mac is connected to my phone because it won't, and it's literally 6 inches away. How do you work that one out? So,
Well,
you know,
like I said to
technology,
you,
let's-
Ian, do
let's
you remember
go.
the other day when I was trying to get the Ableton link to work?
yeah.
It works. It works now. It wasn't working the other day.
Yeah. No, it wasn't. Yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah.
It's written in the stars.
Once,
No,
actually, what I will say,
think it's just
once
Wi-Fi.
I've got this studio,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
When I've
think
got
I think
the
a
whole
lot of
studio wired up, I'll do
I
a
think-
proper tour.
I think a lot of our
Yeah.
It's all
wireless
set up.
technology. I think a lot of our wireless technologies we use now are hiding a treasure trove of incompatibilities that we don't really get to see normally, and that's why it just suddenly doesn't work.
Oh, I
Because
learned.
you hit one of those little pots.
I learned. Like I did my postgrad stuff at uni years ago, and I learnt Wi-Fi. Literally, the actual codec itself, and all of the how all of the packets are transmitted, and all that. You know, it was
the
like
broad spectrum.
it was complete nerding out on Wi-Fi. And even with that, I still have problems connecting Wi-Fi up. Yeah, I mean, I literally have a computer science degree, and I still have problems connecting Wi-Fi up.
Me too.
That's because it doesn't matter how much knowledge you have if you don't have visibility over it.
Yeah.
You can't diagnose
I mean,
issues. It's very hard to.
What was funny, last night we had, I was sent some quite large audio files because I'm putting this EMOM album out later this year. And they sent me and Simon sent me half the album. It downloaded really fast in here on the studio Mac, no problem at all, you know. And then I come to it this morning, literally 10 minutes before the show starts, no Wi-Fi. I'm thinking, oh, for God's sake, I'm getting the laptop out, and, you know. God.
That's
So, go
Never mind
figure,
that.
you know.
Even when you're cabling things with a USB, You don't even have to be Wi-Fi. Just the USB can decide it don't want to work for no apparent reason.
That is true.
That is true.
On my PC, Darren, some days I turn my PC on and I don't get any icon. You know how you got the icons down the bottom on Windows? I don't get any. I just literally get the start icon and the thing that's next to it, and that's it. And I'm like, wow, what the hell? So I have to restart it, and then they all come
Restart
up again.
Explorer.
I'm like,
That's
what
why
the
it's
hell?
computer science, right? There's that much science in computer science.
Yes.
Computer hope that it works. Science.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the price
Alright,
we
guys.
pay for all the features.
I promised the wife, because it is Mother's Day in Australia tomorrow. I promised the wife that we would
happy
end the
Mother's
show
Day.
before midnight. I've got one. It's just turned midnight. Damn it.
Right.
Damn it. Oh, she's going to hold that over you forever.
No, she
Yeah.
won't. No, she won't.
Yeah.
She'll be happy.
Right,
That
I hope you buy her
ended
some
it.
flowers.
I got to get up early. I've got soccer again tomorrow morning, or football for you guys in the UK. I'm not coaching tomorrow though. Yay! I can just watch as a parent. But it's 8 o'clock in the morning that I've got to be there. So early rise tomorrow.
That's
so yeah,
late, that.
it's about a 7-hour sleep. That's fine. Anyway, big thank yous to everyone who's been on the show. I will end it now. Big thank you to all the chatties who are still here and putting up with us for all those years. Many, many thanks. Big thanks to Daren and Andy and Ian and Chris, and also thanks to Andy Brooks, who was trying to get on with Zoom before. We'll get him on some other way, and we'll try and work out what the hell this Zoom stuff is trying to do during the week, and I'll see if I can work that out. I fixed one thing in here, and that's working. That's the little chat the chat icons now. That's working good. Anyway, please go and press record. Do some stuff. Don't forget to hit that
We'll
record
play a
button.
park bench somewhere. Yeah.
Yep. Do that.
Hey!
Yeah.
Very good. Very good.
Hooroo. See you later. Bye.
See you guys.
Enjoy your week.
See ya. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.